Imagine a Minecraft world where you spawn in and things look unfamiliar and new. Sounds cool, right? That is why I'm going to spend 100 days exploring Better Minecraft. Better Minecraft is a mod pack that adds tons of features to the game while still keeping that vanilla feel to it. It adds things like dungeons and structures, completely new biomes and mobs, new dimensions, caves, and so much more. Let's be real though, I think we all know we're here for all the cozy upgrades. So let's begin our adventure where we explore the world of Better Minecraft all while building up a cozy base for survival. I'm excited for this one. Alright, so here we are day one in a brand new world, and it looks like we're in a classic forest with a couple of changes to the leaves. We've got a nice early morning sky here, the sun is rising, and there is a giant structure there. Judging by the size of that structure, it probably is a little bit dangerous, so I don't know if we should exactly go over there, at least not yet anyway. But I'm kind of thinking before we do anything, we should probably punch a tree to get ourselves set up with the basics for Minecraft survival. Whoa, everything just disintegrated. That was cool. So with these oak logs, let's make ourselves a crafting table. And since I don't see any stone right now, we'll make ourselves a pickaxe, an axe, and maybe a sword just to be safe. So with these three things, I think we should just, explore a little bit, see what's around us, and figure out where we're gonna go from here. So as you can see in the hotbar, we also do have a book. And this basically is a quest book. So if we complete some tasks, we do get rewards. Now the question is, am I gonna use this book or leave it alone? Maybe once we settle in and find a spot to live, we can do that, but for now, I think we should probably explore for a bit. I mean, we've got 100 days in this world after all, so we have lots of adventuring and building to do in our future. Also, I'm really digging the fact that we have instant mine on these trees. This is gonna make our lives so much easier. I have played through Better Minecraft once before, although it was quite some time ago, so it kind of feels like I'm rediscovering what it's all about. And just like that, I think we may have stumbled upon a village. I think we should probably spend some time searching around to see what's here. Ooh, we've got some potatoes, seeds, onions, carrots, emeralds. All right, maybe we should scoop up this bed as well. Well, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about food, that's for sure. Especially because we have a pretty good variety of crops that we can grow. All right, let's see what other goodies this village has. Whoa! Look at you! You're all dressed in armor. You got a sword, a shield. You're looking fancy. There's nothing in your house for me to steal though. So I continued searching around the village while gathering up things that might be useful for my journey. Listen, I asked one of the villagers and they said I could take whatever I wanted. I swear. Okay, I didn't do that, but I'm sure it's fine. Whoa, a deer. Hi, friend. Oh, and I scared it off. Wow, this village is very lively, except there's also a giant spawner in the center that's not really spawning anything. Another thing that could come in handy for us though, because we might need a spawner down the road, especially if we're gonna be gathering up some XP. Okay, hold on a second. What's this? What's this? Oh, right, this is a waystone. Basically, these things allow you to teleport between them, making it much easier to travel around the map. So I actually think we should probably keep this one here, because this village might be useful for us down the road. All right, I'm just gonna rename this so we actually know what this spot is, and I'm simply gonna rename it Village. After I had set up the waystone, I continued searching around the village, gathering up whatever I thought could be useful. Yoink! I pretty much left no chest unopened, and yeah, I managed to grab quite a bit, including an enchanted book we could use later too. Now, we still have a little bit of daylight left, and I'm wondering, should we go check out this giant build over here? It's probably gonna be a bad idea, but hey, it's Better Minecraft, we have to see what's around. And immediately, I do hear some concerning noises. Yep, that doesn't look too good. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should back off. Yep, something's hitting me with a bow and arrow. I'm out of here. So after a long first day of taking stuff from a village, I decided to head to bed for the night. All right, we are on to day 2, and I say we see what this world has to offer us beyond this village. Now, the super terrifying structure is off that way, and I say we head off in the opposite direction. I think it's probably best to stay away from that until we have some better armor at least. Oh, before we do anything else though, here's a little pile of stone so we can finally upgrade our tools. So let's get ourselves an upgrade, and I don't know, my inventory is getting pretty full, so I think those wooden tools have to go. Now, today is probably going to be full of exploration. However, I would ideally like to find a good spot for us to have a base as well. But considering we're in Better Minecraft, there's a chance that we're going to run into some pretty cool things like structures and stuff, so there's the possibility that our plan might get completely derailed. Wow, me, drift, getting distracted. What a shocker. So off I continued on my journey. Ooh, we've got a cute little wheat field. This is nice. Look at that flower field. Ooh, that's pretty. Same with this forest. This is a vibe. I really like those trees. And whoa, what is that? Is that a little island with a villager on it? That's cool. You know, it might be worth it to say hello and introduce ourselves. Hello, villager. How's it going? What you got in here? Ooh, feather falling. Hey, that's pretty good. Aqua affinity, okay. You've got some good stuff in here. Ooh, bundles, gunpowder, wow. This is kind of a mess right now. Let me just declutter your storage for you. Okay, now I'm starting to run out of space though. Hey, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Hey, you're a Fletcher. That's pretty good. Maybe we could trade with you down the road. All right, well, this area is really cute. I don't think there's enough room on this island for the both of us, but that doesn't mean I can't come visit. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of intrigued by this flower and wheat field over here though. All right, this is a vibe. This is a big old vibe. What is this place? Why is it so cute? Also, there's like a little lake here. What? I mean, it's only day 2, but have I maybe found the perfect spot for us? You know, I could keep looking. However, one of my goals for this 100 days was to live in a modded biome of some sorts. And honestly, this kind of has it all. We've got wheat fields over here. We've got that cool looking biome close by, a neighbor so I don't feel so lonely. And also it looks like I'm surrounded by an autumn biome as well. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we at least set a crafting table down here, take a look around, and if we see anything else that catches our eye, we can always come back for our stuff. I also really need to clean out my inventory. Not that I took a bunch of junk or anything. All right, we still have a little bit of time left in the day, so I think I'm gonna wander around a bit. Oh, and it looks like we've got some more villager friends. And you know what? This is actually perfect. They also have a Waystone, which I think I'm gonna snatch up because although this village is close to me, it's not close enough. I decided to stay up a little bit into the night just to check to see what was around the village. It was a little bit smaller than the other one I had come across. However, there were some villagers hanging around who had some pretty cool professions. Also, turns out these villagers are baddies. Maybe we'll all be able to help each other out. So here we are on day 3, and I think it's time we leave these villagers alone and get back to our base. I don't want them to get sick of me too fast as their new neighbor. So now that we're back, I think we have to figure out a couple of things today. First of all, my hunger bar, yeah, that's not looking so great. So I think we're gonna have to establish a decent source of food. Luckily, in the meantime, I have a bunch of potatoes, so I think I'm gonna cook those up. I did, however, notice a bunch of cows in this field. So I think it would probably be wise for us to get a little wheat farm started. That way we'll have food to feed the cows. So I just gotta make myself some farming tools, and I'm just gonna make some farmland over by this water. We'll pop some seeds down. And I think that's a good start. Now, next thing on the list is we're gonna need a proper spot for the cows because they're just roaming around right now. So let's make some fencing. And I feel like this is actually a good spot for farmland. It's a big open space with a wheat field behind it. What more could you possibly need? Whoa, I forgot you can angle the fencing. This is so cool. Ooh, fancy. Also, I wonder, can I use this wheat for anything? If I break it, it just falls apart. Tools don't seem to work on it either. I have a feeling it might require some form of different tool or something, so we'll probably have to worry about that later. In the meantime, though, I think I'm gonna borrow some wheat from the villagers. Once I got back from the village, I had a little bit of time left in the day, so I used some of the wheat I had gathered to bring some cows into the pen. Cow pen? Check. Also, all these different variants of them are so cute. Once it got dark, I didn't want to stay out too late because I don't have a safe spot like a house yet, so I decided to head to bed for the night. And that brings us into day 4, where yep, gotta fight some mobs in the morning, but other than that, looks like another beautiful day. So, we've got the beginnings of our food sorted out, and today I think I'd like to focus on getting some resources from the caves. I'm kind of struggling to survive out here right now because I don't have any armor. I could use some torches to light this area up. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of stuff that I need. Before I go down into the caves though, I just realized I have a bunch of iron that I found. How could I have forgotten that? That's okay though, I think I'm gonna use it to make a shield. And the rest I'm gonna use for a water bucket because that can help us get down steep parts in the caves. Oh, before we leave, I might as well set down our Waystone. That way if we wander off really far and come across another one, we can simply teleport back. So with my minimal tools and armor, I set off to find a cave. And instead of finding a cave, I got distracted because, well, I found another village. Since I had already come across so many other villages, I decided to skim over it and continue my search for a cave. Hey, at least we know it's here though. Still no signs of caves, but what is this flower? Red violet. That is so cute. I'm gonna try to keep it in my inventory. No guarantees because we might run out of space, but hey, that's sticking with me for now. Searching for a cave entrance still didn't bring me any luck, but I did end up coming across a rune of some sorts. I poked around to see if there were any chests or treasures, but I didn't manage to find anything. The day continued to go by while I continued my search for a cave. Oh! After searching pretty much all day, I think I have found myself a very big cave indeed. Yep, this looks a little bit intimidating, but hey, I guess I found what I was looking for, so that's good. So off I went down into the big and scary cave to gather up resources. And it seems like I had gotten off to a good start by finding some coal and lapis. Ooh, iron, let's go. What is this though? I'm seeing it hanging around, but I'm not sure exactly what it does. Raw silver. I'm gonna have to figure out what we can make with this. Nighttime came around and I decided to stay up so I could continue exploring the caves. I ended up finding a bunch of iron and I even grabbed some dripstone so we could make a lava farm at our base. What is that noise? Hello? What is that noise? Oh, who are you? Are you friendly? Are you not friendly? Oh, hello? Ah! What just happened? Where did they go? I don't know what to do. I tried interacting with them, but they just disappeared. It's okay. My stench tends to have that effect on people. Oh, you're back. Do you want a potato? Wait, do you like the potato? You seem kind of... Nope, never mind. I don't even know why I thought the potato would work. Day 5 came around and I was still searching through the caves. I managed to find a couple more deposits of iron, and I decided to grab a little bit of deep slate along the way. Look at you, you've got a helmet and like a little belt and stuff. You look pretty sharp. Oh, I didn't even get the helmet. Not fair, I want one. There actually seems to be a lot of cool different types of blocks down here. We've got this rhyolite. I also picked up some soapstone, which looks pretty cool. I don't know if it's something that I would exactly use for builds, but I think it looks really cool amongst this cave. I continued on my search throughout the caves, gathering up any resources I could find. Ah! Morris? Hello? Who are you, little buddy? Can I at least interact with you? I can. Oh, I can trade stuff with you. Hey, wait a second. I could trade some iron with Morris and get 2 for 1. Feel like we should do that. That's a pretty sweet deal. Same with this copper. Morris, it's a pleasure doing business with you. Hopefully we run into each other again in the future. After I had traded with Morris, I decided I had a good stock of materials from the caves, so it was probably a good time to head back up. On my way back, I ended up passing through a really cool redwood forest that's actually pretty close to our base. I also came across a ruined portal in the birch forest as well, which could be useful for us down the road. If we decide to go to the nether, that is. Ah, here we are. Home sweet home. Now, the very last thing I'm gonna do for the day is use the iron I got from Morris to make some armor. Cause yeah, in better Minecraft, there's a lot of cozy stuff, but there's also a lot of different mobs around. So I'm not taking any chances. Day 6 came around and I started the morning off by feeding the cows and finding more animals to bring over to our farmland. I think today is just going to be a simple chill day of expanding the farmland some more and making sure we grow our food supply. Plus, things like leather and wool are things we're definitely going to need down the road as well. Hello? What are you doing over here, bud? Honestly, I'm wondering if we could find a use for this villager. Alright, buddy, I'm putting you in a boat so you don't go anywhere. And since I won't be needing this villager just yet, let's keep them safe and sound in a dirt hut. They could come in handy if we ever need to do any villager trading. Alright, now let's get back to working on our farmland. Now, as for the sheep I was gathering, let's get a pen sorted for them. Sheep number 1 in the pen, and here we go, sheep number 2. Perfect. I think I'm gonna go ahead and shear these sheep now for some carpets. So that way we can easily hop in and out of these pens. Perfect, we've got a little bit of farmland going. Since I pretty much ended up working on farmland for most of the day, I decided to decorate it a little bit with some pathing. So we're actually starting to get quite a few cows around here, and I was kind of thinking, I think we'll soon be able to make a backpack for more inventory space. Since of course we're in better Minecraft, there are so many more items, and this inventory just isn't really cutting it. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll be able to gather up enough leather to make one. After I finished adding some paths to the base, I pretty much spent the rest of the day eating potatoes and planting more wheat. And that brings us into day 7, where I think we've got a good amount of essentials sorted out. So that leaves us with today, where I think maybe we should start figuring out what we're gonna do for our starter home. The great news is I have a really beautiful biome to live in. The bad news is I really don't have that much to build with. We've got a random assortment of blocks here and there, but it's definitely not enough to build something with. So I say we make ourselves some good tools and head off to gather up some materials for building. So off I went on another adventure. So I'm in this cypress forest, and honestly, these trees look pretty cool. I wonder what the planks look like though. Ooh, these planks could come in handy, especially for flooring. Definitely gonna grab a couple of these. And while we're at it, I'm gonna grab some of this birch as well. After collecting a good amount of blocks from that forest, I continued on my adventure. Along the way, I saw some fruits and vegetables like carrots and grapes, so I made sure to pick those up as well. I've got to be so real right now. I'm totally going back to where I spawned because I just need spruce, okay? I can't build without it. And towards my destination to the spruce forest, I stopped to gather some oak as well. Ah, there's the spruce. Perfect. I'm just gonna scoop up a bunch and make sure I grab these saplings as well. What is this? Oh. Well, whatever it was, I ruined it. Is it meant to be sheared? No. Yes? Oh, hot sun lichen. Well, I don't really know what I'll do with it, but hey, maybe it'll come in handy for a build. So after gathering up a decent amount of each wood type, I decided it was probably best to start heading home. My journey back home brought me into day 8. Is that a duck? It is! There's ducks! My favorite animal. Oh, we're gonna have to make a duck pond at some point. I'm gonna leave the little fellas here right now, but we're definitely gonna have to come back for them. They're so cute. All right, I've made it back home with lots of daylight to spare. So we got some goodies to build with. However, they are all different types of wood. So I think what I'm gonna have to do before we proceed on building anything is kind of figure out a palette. Now we've got some spruce, which is a classic, some birch. Whoa, what? They blend together, that's so cool. Oak, and this cypress. Now, for me personally, this cypress log is a little bit too desaturated, but I think this would look really great as flooring. I think I'd like to stick to some of these for the walls, roof, and beams. Now, for me personally, spruce is an instant classic for the beams. Whoa, spruce bark? Huh. Now, the walls. I was kind of thinking, this birch provides a nice little bit of contrast with this spruce. The question is though, if we're gonna use birch for the walls, what do we use for the roof? The biome that we're currently in is just so vibrant and colorful, so I'd love to find a block that kind of complements that. The only problem is, in my travels, I haven't really come across any modded blocks that do that. I mean, we do have the redwood over here. However, I'm not sure I like the texture of this block that much. Plus, it might blend in a little bit too much with the autumn leaves that we have behind us. The autumn leaves, however, did spark a little bit of an idea though. What goes good with orange? Blue. And what turns kind of like a cool bluish green if you leave it out in the sun for a bit? Copper. If we're going to be using copper though, we don't have nearly enough that we're going to need for this build. So I think that means we're going to have to make a trip into the caves. However, I think that's likely going to be a job for tomorrow because I think we should probably tend to our farm animals and get ourselves some food. So I spent the rest of the day feeding the animals and adding a couple decorations here and there. And just like that, we are on to day 9, where I think we head into the caves today to gather up the remaining materials we need for our starter home. Before we head out though, I did notice I had 4 leather already. I don't remember where I got it from, probably a village. However, maybe we gather up a little bit more before we go. We've got 10, so that should realistically be enough for this backpack. So let's combine everything to make this backpack, and that gives us 1 extra slot of inventory space. Now there are other tiers of backpacks, so let's try upgrading with iron since we already have enough. And that gives us an additional slot. Sweet! So fully suited up with some armor as well as my new backpack, I traveled towards the cave. Down we go again. And with that, I began my hunt for copper. While gathering up the resources I needed, I also picked up some deep slate because I thought it might look good with the build palette we have in mind. I also made sure to go say hi to my best friend Morris so I could get some extra copper and iron. Hey, you're not Morris? You'll still trade with me though, so you know what? I'll take it. Please make sure you tell him I say hi though. We are on to day 10, and I think I've got a good amount of stuff collected from these caves for our build. So I think it's time for us to get out of here. So with a pretty full inventory, I made my journey back home. With everything collected, I think the first thing that I need to do is probably start burning up all of this copper. And while I waited for that to cook, I turned all the copper bars into blocks and set them out in the sun to oxidize. Now, the next thing that we're gonna need is a spot for our build. Now, I really like this lake around here, and it could look really cool to scatter all the builds around it. However, the terrain do be looking a little bit rough around here. So I think while we wait for all of that copper to burn, I'm gonna start terraforming some of this land. There's a lot to fix up, so flattening the terrain pretty much took the entirety of the day. And that brings us into day 11, where I started the morning off with a little bit of excitement. What is that? Ow! Why is it hitting me? Stop, it's too early for this. I just got orc skin. What am I even to do with that? Well, now that that's over, I still have a little bit more terraforming to do for the day, and then I think I'm pretty much ready to begin building. So I spent the morning placing lots and lots of dirt. Alrighty, I think this is more than enough space for a starter home. Just ignore the little cliffside edge over here. We'll pretend that's intentional for now. So with enough space laid out, I think it's time for us to put up this build. And I started things off by putting a footprint down made of deep slate. Next, I added in some beams using barrels and spruce. It was starting to get late and I didn't want any mobs to ruin any progress I had made, so I went to bed for the night. Day 12 came around and I was up bright and early continuing the build. Now that we've got a foundation in place, I think it's time we can add in some birch walls. So I got to work putting the walls up using a mixture of birch planks and birch logs. And now we just strip these pieces of wood so they're all the same. We'll pop out a door and window, and I think this is looking good so far. I think that means we're pretty much ready to get started on the roof, so let's drop off some of this copper and grab some of the oxidized blocks. So let's start this off by getting a spruce trim in place. Since we're in a flowery meadow, I really want these builds to have a cottagecore feel to them. And I think to help give that vibe, I'm gonna make the roof a little bit more steep and curved, giving it that whimsical cottage look. Alrighty, the shape's all in place and I think that is looking perfect. Now I'm not sure I have enough copper just yet, but this should get us a pretty good portion of our roof finished. Well, that was less than I thought. Back to the copper yard I go. I can probably just use these ones too. They'll eventually oxidize up on the rooftop anyway. It's not a big deal. Once I collected more copper, I pretty much spent the rest of the evening building out the roof. Day 13, and I think we're making some pretty good progress on this cottage core house. It's looking real good amongst all these flowers. And listen, I know Better Minecraft has a lot to explore and discover, but I still want to have a nice little spot to come back to when we're done our adventures. Plus, that means we get to use some of the cozy furniture mods. Alright, the roof is all done. Yay! Now the problem is I need to fix up these walls a bit. However, I am running out of birch, so I think I better go grab some quickly. Hello? What is this? It's a little house of some sorts. Does anybody even live here? Doesn't really look like it. However, it's probably that villager that was wandering around the other day. Oh, that makes so much sense. Well, buddy, you're stuck living in a dirt pit now. Whoa, wait, what's this? A little secret hidey hole? It seems to be mostly lava down there? I don't think I like this, but I also can't not explore. Oh! Whoa! What? This was here all along? And I was traveling all the way over to that other cave. So instead of going right back to the build, I decided to snoop around for a bit. I mean, this is Better Minecraft after all. You can't not adventure. And this mineshaft seemed to go on forever. It branched off in so many directions, had different levels. It was a little bit of a maze. What is this? Oh, hi. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna let you out because you're gonna hurt me, but you do have mending, which I'm gonna take, and some of this stuff, so thanks. Whoa. This is so cool! Super overgrown. I like this. After exploring a bit and searching through minecarts for some goodies, I did eventually turn around to go back. This portion of the mines were even harder to navigate, so I didn't want to get lost forever and end up having to spend the rest of my 100 days here. I simply have too much to live for. Hey, what are you doing up there? Can I trade with you? Oh, I don't have anything to trade. But you're so close to home, I'll have to come back and say hi to you sometime. I'll have lots of goodies. All right, for real this time, let's get out of here. Ow. By the time I had gotten out of the cave, it was nighttime and there were just a mass amount of mobs everywhere, so I decided to run back to that villager house because mine doesn't even have a door on it. And that brings us into day 14, where I had to strategically run back to my base because of the amount of creepers that were around, and I still managed to make a creeper blow up in front of my house, of all things. Well, now that we're back from our adventure, I say it's time for us to get back to work and get this build sorted. So with all of the walls filled in, we've got ourselves a lovely little cottage. Now comes the fun part where we can begin decorating it. Now, because we are in better Minecraft, we just have so many more options for building. There's tons of mods that allow us to make different types of furniture and decorations, so I say we just peruse what's available to us and see what we can make. I basically started out by adding some windows and then some supports underneath where I could later add things like planters. Then on the other side of the house, I built up a lean-to where I could later add things like storage. I then popped down the planters, popped in some glass for the windows, and then went to sleep for the night. And that brings us into day 15, where I was still working away on the build. Aside from a few details, the exterior of the house was pretty much done. So I got to work on decorating the interior. I think I'm gonna give these hemlock planks a shot for the floor. Now, I actually don't even remember which tree gave me hemlock planks, so this might be a one-time use. I think those look pretty sharp. With the floor in place, I got to work on decorating, where I started by making a cozy spot to sleep. After all the adventuring we're doing, we obviously have to prioritize a good night's rest. I then put out some storage for my items and some shelving so I can add lighting and other decorations. With some of the essentials in place, I worked away for the rest of the day on making my little cottage as cozy as can be. And yeah, I think this is the perfect place to come back to after a long adventure. It's a small space, but I think I was able to utilize it pretty well. I'm still a little bit limited as to what I can make because I don't have a plethora of resources yet, but it still feels super cute and cozy in here. And that brings us into day 16, where I've got a final few finishing touches I want to make on the home, and then we're pretty much done with it. Pretty much I just want to bring all of our workstations that we have out here and actually integrate them into our home. After I'd moved most of the essential items over, I did some last minute decorating by adding storage to the lean-to and then adding a chimney to the roof. And with all of that, I think our starter home is all done. Now this is a cozy place to live. And honestly, I think it fits perfectly amongst this biome. So now that I have a cozy new house, what's the best way to make it feel like home, you may ask? Bestly dump all of my belongings into chests and barrels, of course. I pretty much spent the rest of the day organizing all of my stuff. I also made a cute chandelier and milk can because I saw their crafting recipes and thought they looked cool. And guess what? They do look cool. We are now on to day 17, and after all that building, I think we're due for a little adventure. Not only is there still a lot of things that we need, like better tools and armor, enchanting, all of that stuff, I still just want to get out there and explore. Because we've been here only 17 days, and we found a lot of structures, but I still think we've only scratched the surface with what we could find. So with all of our farming chores done, I say we venture out and see what's around. So I followed the river to see where it would take me. My adventure started off by passing through the birch forest. Eventually that led me into a classic oak forest where I still hadn't seen anything that caught my eye. Once I cleared the forest, I came across this giant mushroom. Ooh, this is cozy looking. It's got some cottagecore vibes, okay. It's a lot better than that structure that we saw when we spawned, and this is gonna be dangerous, isn't it? Oh, yep, that's not friendly. That's not friendly, I don't have a shield. That was scary. Oh, I got a blackstone shard. It's placeable in a stone holder. So I guess that's decoration. Well, I don't have much time to think about it because that pig just fell from the sky and is out to get me. Ow! Oh, they hit pretty hard. Still got him though. So I think if I'm actually going to take this on, I should maybe make myself another shield. It's just a thought. Now, it's probably pretty risky to search through this place since I only have iron armor, but they do seem to go down pretty quickly even if their hits are kind of brutal. So determined to find some type of loot, I decided to stick around. I started by searching through the smaller mushroom houses. The houses seemed to have tons of bookshelves, which I ended up taking because that could come in handy for enchanting and decorating back at our base. There were also some really cute decorative items like mushrooms and piles of books that I took as well. So it was definitely worth poking around. Okay, that's concerning, and I fear that I am in trouble. After noticing that they kind of just kept dropping from the giant mushroom, I pillared up to see if I could spot a spawner or anything. There's one right there. Let's just get rid of that. It's barely any good loot. What does this say? If If you walk with the fungus, you'll never be out of the spores. I don't think I like it here. After leaving that concerning room, I decided to snoop around some more and came across the main floor. Oh, there's another spawner there. So just as I suspected, they're all coming from in there, and there's a lot of them. I've got to be so real. I was very naive and saw the mushroom and immediately thought it would be a cozy villager house or something. But that's clearly not the case, so I feel like maybe we should dip. So after stealing a library's worth of books, I decided to get out of there. And that brought me into day 18, where I stumbled across a little village. It seemed like this village had a bit of a problem where there was a giant spider cave underneath it, which is pretty gross if you ask me. But despite the spiders lurking underneath, I decided to stick around to see if they had anything worth taking. And it looks like we've got ourselves a Waystone, which, you know what? I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna come back to this village, as nice as it is. So I think I might just take this Waystone for myself. That way, when I'm ready to go home, I can simply just pop down the Waystone and teleport back. Whoa, what's this? A restaurant? Hey, Mr. Chefman, can I get sorry, I'm just gonna take this for myself. As I was getting ready to leave the village and head back home, I spotted the most single valuable thing in Minecraft. The Ruth cat. For those of you who don't know, I have a calico cat named Ruth who looks exactly like the one in Minecraft. So if I spot Ruth in the game, you know I've got to bring her back with me. So I grabbed some of Ruth's favorite fish, and after she thought it through very carefully, she decided to come live with me. Since I had the cat with me, I actually didn't know if teleportation was an option, and quite frankly, I didn't really want to risk it. So I decided to make the journey back home by foot. Well, Ruth, welcome to your new home. Make yourself cozy, help yourself to whatever you like. Oh, yep, okay, you like the storage barrels, that's fine too, I guess. I'll just leave you to it. Since I had a little bit of time left in the day, I decided to go plant some spruce saplings so I could more easily collect building materials in the future. It is a lovely morning on day 19, and I think it's time to get some stuff done around our base before we venture off again. Since we've done lots of exploring, our storage is kind of suffering. We simply have too much stuff and nowhere to put it. So I say today we build a storage house to contain all of our stuff. That way we no longer have to live amongst chaos at our base. We only reserve that for adventuring. So I decided to spend the day gathering up more materials for this build. Surprisingly, the Instamine function even worked on the giant taiga trees, which made gathering it up so much easier. After I had enough spruce, I also popped into the forest to gather up some more birch. Well, I think I've got everything I need in terms of spruce and birch, because Instamine just makes things so much easier. The only resource I'm kind of lacking right now is copper, but I think I'll figure that one out later. In the meantime, I think I'm going to start terraforming the space around here to make a spot for this build. So I spent the rest of the day shoveling away to flatten out the terrain. Day 20 came around and I was greeted once more with a familiar visitor. What are you doing here? Why do you hit me and then run away? That's so mean. What are you doing? Come on, I feel like we can be friends here. You don't have to do that. You know what? I've got a lot of work to do today, so I'm just gonna let you hang out. And maybe you can, I don't know, learn to be nice to me. I still had a bit of terraforming left to do, so I worked on that while that dude seemed to be running around aimlessly while giving me the side eye. Alright, so I think I've got a good amount of space for this storage room, which means I can begin getting this build in place. Stop. Why did it just run up like that? What is it doing? I'm too easily amused by it. So basically for the storage room, I just need a space big enough to fit a decent amount of double chests. And I think this footprint should be more than enough. After I was done with the footprint, I put up some beams and then got to work on the roof. Alright, the sun's beginning to set and I have a feeling that this orc isn't going to protect me at night from all the mobs. He kind of seems to be doing his own thing. So I'm going to head to bed for the night. The morning of day 21 began with Ruth telling me she didn't like the vibe of our new friend. She told me we should lie and say there's a spot for him over at the village close by, but honestly, I feel like she's a little bit jealous that I was chatting with him while I built yesterday. I could be wrong, but we'll see. With a full day ahead of me, I went straight back to work on the storage house. My first task of the day was to finish off the shape of the roof. Roof is all in place and that's looking good, looking good. So next I'm going to toss up the walls real quick. Alright, the walls are all in place. Now the last piece of the puzzle is the roof. Hopefully this is going to be enough copper for us. But if not, at least we can easily pop into the caves. Oh, I still have a lot in here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and start burning this up. And I'll put up what I can in the meantime. Day 22 and I was working bright and early to get this show on the road. I used a bunch of the copper I had been smelting to turn into blocks for the roof, and I spent a good chunk of the morning building it up. Alright, I went through all of that copper and I'm still waiting for some more to burn. So in the meantime, while we wait for all of that stuff to smelt, I'm gonna start on the interior of the build. I chose to use oak for the floors, which was honestly kind of a bad idea. I ended up running out pretty quickly and there's not an oak forest close by. So I used the Waystone to travel back to the village at spawn to collect some. That should be more than enough for what we need. So I say we get out of here and go back to our base. With my oak wood fully restocked, I got back to work on the interior. It was beginning to get late and the copper was still smelting, so I decided to keep on with decorating as much of the interior as I could. Since I felt relatively safe inside the half-made structure, I decided to stay up a bit later to get some of the storage in place. I added 2 walls of storage, and in the middle I made a little spot where I could display cool items I find during my adventures. And that brings us into day 23. I'm a little bit nervous that there's mobs around, so I think I'm just gonna hide out on this rooftop for the morning until they all go away. So I got to work placing more copper. Well, the good news is with this build is that it looks super cool. The bad news? Yeah, I've run out of blocks to finish the roof. Well, I guess that just means we're gonna have to go on a good old-fashioned adventure. In the meantime though, I'm gonna start organizing my inventory because I can. So with a freshly cleared inventory, I decided to head back over to the mines. Now we do have that mine shaft close by, however, I don't know how easy it would be for us to actually find stuff within it. I didn't really notice that many resources while I was crawling through it. I think the better compromise is to honestly go back to the mine shaft that we originally found and pop a waystone down there. That way we can easily travel back and forth if we need to. So once in the caves, I popped down the waystone, set it up, and I was off to search for as much copper as I could find. Luckily there seemed to be tons around the caves, so it actually wasn't too hard to come by. Plus copper usually comes in pretty large veins, so even though I had just begun collecting it, I already had managed to grab quite a bit. Ooh, emeralds. Don't mind if I do. During my search through the caves, I had come across another friend who wanted to trade, but sadly, they weren't interested in trading copper. You know what, I need to be collecting a little bit of deep slate for my builds anyway, but I think it might be worthwhile going lower into the caves to see if I can get any diamonds as well. That's the one thing I have yet to come across, and it would just be so handy having better tools. Searching lower in the caves didn't result in any diamonds, however, I did come across a cool looking spawner that was just floating in water. Yo, what? This looks cool. I need to inspect this further. There might be good loot. It could be better. I'll definitely be taking all of this stuff though. I mean, at least we know this is here if we ever need it. Day 24 came around and I was still searching through the caves. I was still picking up quite a bit of copper along the way, but didn't have any luck with diamonds so far. There was still one other side of the cave that I hadn't explored yet, so I decided to try my luck there. Diamonds! Finally! I just have to precariously pillar up, and let's grab these. Yay, my first diamonds! After locating my first few diamonds, I was starting to have a little bit of hope, so I decided to continue searching. This cave system was definitely a lot bigger than the one I was in before, however, I still wasn't having any luck spotting diamonds. Whoa! An iron deposit, cool! Well, maybe that explains why I'm finding so much of this stuff. Uh-oh. Hey, you've got a tool, can I have that? Aww. Things started getting a little bit dicey in these caves, so I made the decision to head on out. And as I was making my way back up, I spotted a couple of diamonds out of the corner of my eye. More! That was so lucky that I spotted these. I nearly just ran past them. Alright, so I got 5, which is definitely enough for an enchanting table, and maybe a pick as well? I'll definitely take that as a win. The very last thing I wanted to do before I left was to say hi to my pal Morris and maybe do some trading. However, I wasn't able to find him. So I located my waystone and went back home. Day 25 and we are back at home with lots and lots of work to do. But before I do anything, yeah, I saw you, buddy. You too. And one more. Well, with all of those mobs out of the way, I think it's finally time for us to finish off this storage house. Now, while we wait for these copious amounts of copper to burn, I think I'd like to get started on organizing these chests some more. So I simply tossed some spruce signs on the chests and began labeling each one. Although organizing wasn't the most thrilling task in the world, it definitely had to be done. While organizing, I also had the chance to start putting down some of the cool things I've collected during my adventures. It's only a couple random items here and there for now, but I feel like once this is filled out a little bit more, it's gonna look really cool. And here we are on day 26, and you know what? There are a lot of Endermen around here. But I was kind of thinking, maybe I should take advantage of the fact that these Endermen are around. Their eyeballs could come in handy for crafting recipes. I don't know, maybe we decide to go to the end. Who knows? There's no harm in collecting them, especially if it's easy for us to do so. Oh, yay, I actually got one. All right, now that that's done, let's get back to this build. So I did tons and tons of organizing last night, and I think we're off to a pretty good start with this. Definitely feels a lot more manageable. Would be nice though if we, had a roof. So I think it's time we get this finished up. By the afternoon, I'd finally finished up the roof. Yay! Now that the structure and interior are all done, pretty much all I have left to do is decorate the exterior a bit. Because right now it's looking like a sad rectangle, and we don't want that. So I spent the rest of the day puttering away and decorating the storage house. Day 27, and with our storage room all done, I say we work on another task around the base today. Now I'm still in desperate need of better tools and armor. And unfortunately, all we have at the moment are 5 diamonds. The good news is though, that means we are absolutely able to build an enchanting table. And although I don't think we have enough books for the level 30 enchantments just yet, we can at least make the table. The only thing we're missing though is some obsidian. And boy, do I know where to get some. Let's just, put some water on this. And oh, before I forget, I think I need a diamond pick in order to grab the obsidian, right? So let's make our very first diamond tool. Ta-da! Yay! Woo! And let's grab up some of this obsidian. Alrighty, so now with this obsidian, we can make ourselves an enchanting table. Now, of course, I don't have enough books for the full setup just yet, but at least it's a start. So with the enchanting gear all ready to go, I grabbed some materials I needed to build and went to go find a spot. Alright, the perfect spot for the enchanting area. I'm kind of feeling like if we maybe wound a path going up this way, we could then build something on this little hill. I feel like a little gazebo or something between these two builds could look really cool. All we need to do is a little bit of light terraforming and then we should be good to go. So I spent the remainder of the day flattening out a spot for the gazebo. Once I was done with that, I still had a bit of time left in the day, so I began laying out a footprint for the build. Day 28 came around and I started the morning off by gathering up some more spruce for the build. With all the materials I needed collected, I continued working on the gazebo. I ended up scrapping the footprint I had made the previous night as it felt a little too small for the enchanting setup. I think we need to make this footprint just a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's looking so much better. Plus, I feel like if we had kept it the original size, it would have looked a little bit awkward on this hill. Alright, with the shape all good to go, I think I can start putting up the beams and stuff. Once I was done with the beams, I built up the roof in a dome shape using spruce as the trim and copper slabs in the middle. I also decided to add in a spruce trim going through the center to give the roof a little bit more interest. Day 29 and I was still working away on the gazebo. The structure's all in place and I think this is looking real good. And I think it'll look even better once it starts oxidizing too. Before I set down the table, let me just add in a couple leaves around the edges, and let's get a set of stairs that will lead to the table. So with that all in place, I think we can set down this enchanting table. Probably in the middle, I would say. And finally, let's surround it with the bookshelves that we have. Alright, although we don't have enough for a full setup, I think that's a pretty good start. You know, we could make the remainder bookshelves ourselves by gathering sugarcane and leather, but I kind of want to suit up with some better armor and go back to that mushroom to get the remainder of their books. Hey, it's better Minecraft. If the things we need just take a little bit of adventure to get, I say we do it. Plus, I feel like I have a bit of unfinished business there. But since of course we can't just rush back into that place since we're not prepared, I say we spend the rest of the day decorating this gazebo. So I puttered away adding things into the space to make it feel a little bit more magical. Day 30 and the enchanting gazebo is all decorated. And I think this is looking really good. I also added in a spore blossom so we have all these nice little particles floating around too. So today there's a couple things I want to focus on. Now I had mentioned that to complete the enchanting setup, I want to venture back to that mushroom to gather up more books. However, my armor just isn't good. I think it's finally time that we gather up some diamonds so we can upgrade. Plus, then I think I'll just feel more confident for the rest of our adventures going forward. Also, I'm determined to go back to that mushroom. I don't know why. So if we're gonna be gathering up diamonds, I think I would like to just make a strip mine. As much as I love exploring caves for diamonds, the ones we have around us don't seem to have many. And although making a strip mine isn't the most thrilling thing in the world, I think it will help us get diamonds a lot quicker, which will in turn allow us to get back to our adventures sooner. Now, if we're gonna build a mine, we're gonna need a good spot for this. I'm thinking somewhere close to our starter home. That way it's nice and close to everything else at our base, but then we also get to make a nice build next to our home. So with that plan in mind, I began digging down. Whoa, what is this? Ooh, this looks like a big water cave. Whoa, I think this is part of that mine shaft I was exploring. Diamonds sometimes have a higher spawn rate in water caves, so I decided it would be worth swimming around a bit to see if I could find any good resources. What's this thing? Whoa, cool. Oh no, not good, not good. All right, I'm getting out of here. After that encounter with spiders and the fact that I didn't see any diamonds, I figured it would probably be best to go back to my mine. And eventually while digging down, I managed to have a moment of luck. Diamonds, yes, yay. Well, this gives me hope that maybe we'll get pretty lucky with our strip mine. Well, on my way down, I had run into another cave. Might as well take a little look. It can't hurt, right? No way. Let's go! Finally, I'm having some luck even just caving. This is great. So far, I have gotten 14 diamonds. That's awesome. Feeling good about what I was finding in the caves, I decided to search through it a little bit more. And that brought me into day 31. And honestly, I probably should have turned back. But no, I just had to think it was a great idea to go worming through some more caves for diamonds. This baby zombie running at me full speed should have been a tell that something was about to go wrong. Oh, that was scary. Ooh, what's that over there? Uh-oh, that's not good. That's a spawner. That's a spawner. Ah! Uh-oh. That's not good. Also, Ruth, now's not the time for your judgment, okay? I really messed up, didn't I? So down I went to try and retrieve my stuff as quickly as possible. I'm scared. Oh, it's a grave. Perfect. Okay, I'm grabbing this stuff. I'm just getting out of here. This is way too sketchy. I will never be this foolish again. Who am I kidding? You know I will be. After retrieving all my stuff, I ran back to my hidey hole as quick as I could and continued on with making a good old-fashioned mine. I will never knock it for being boring ever again. On the bright side though, because Better Minecraft just allows you to pick up your stuff from a grave, I got everything back and retained most of my levels. So that's pretty sweet. Once I had finally gotten far enough down into the caves, I began setting up a spot for my mines. And with everything I needed in place, I began digging. And overall, I had a pretty lucky day for diamonds. Diamonds! Yes! Yay! Yes! More diamonds! Let's go! Overall, including the ones I found in the caves, I managed to grab 18. Day 32, and I was still in the mines looking for diamonds. The goal is to keep going until I have 24, which is enough for a full set of armor. If we can get that today, I will be very happy. Otherwise, I might resort to doing some other stuff during the day and then coming back down into the mines at night, cause I also don't want to be burning away too many days down here. Here's to hoping that one more day of searching will do the trick. Oh no, I'm getting hungry too. Am I really gonna have to go up for a little snack break? This feels just like too real, you know? Classic Drift, always needing a snack break. After I had eaten a little bit of bread, I continued my search for diamonds. And it is now day 33, where sadly, I didn't find any more diamonds. As much as I would love to get all the diamonds we need for a full set of armor, I simply have some other stuff that I'd like to move on to as well. So I think maybe we pivot to building up our mining outpost while it's still light out and then going back into the mines in the evening. Then hopefully in the next couple of days we'll have our diamond armor and we can get back to adventuring. Hello? Oh, it's you, huh? Do you have anything good to trade? Whoa! A globe? That's kind of cool, actually. Do I even have enough emeralds for that? I do. Okay, I'm gonna make a trade with you. I wanna see this globe. No idea what it does, but it looks pretty cool and maybe I can display it. Now, is this a placeable item? Whoa! Whoa! It shows my coordinates and spins? Cool. Wow, for once the wandering trader pulled through. Awesome. All right, so if we have a free day ahead of us, I think I'd like to get started on building out a mining outpost. That way the entrance to our mine looks a little bit nicer, and I was kind of thinking that maybe we could use that space for a lava farm as well. Having an infinite fuel source set up will definitely help us out, especially with all of that copper we've been burning. So with that idea in mind, I got to work on laying out a footprint for the mining outpost. Basically, I want this build to be a similar size to the starter home. Since it's pretty much next door to it, I want a build that will complement the starter home rather than overpower it. So I worked away on the frame of the build until the sun went down. Alright, time to head back down into the mines tonight, and hopefully we have some luck. And I'm happy to report that today was a lot better than yesterday. Diamonds! Well, lucky me for that gravel falling. Otherwise, I would never have seen these. Let's go, we got 6! And that actually brings us to 24. Look at me doing my math right. So that means we have enough for a full set of armor. But since we're already down here, I say we search around some more to see if we can get any more. We can't forget, we still have tools to worry about after all. So with a little pep in my step, I continued searching for diamonds through the night. Unfortunately, that is where my luck ended for the night. But hey, I'll still take it. And that brings us into day 34, where I am emerging from the mines with enough diamonds for an armor set. And as much as I would love to gear up and run off on our next adventure, I think we need to finish building that mining outpost. We can't half build something then leave it for some adventuring. That would be very irresponsible, and we need to finish what we started. Why do I sound like I'm lecturing you all? I'm the one existing in this world. Maybe I'm lecturing myself. In order to finish this build though, I am gonna need a couple more materials. So I spent some time in the birch forest gathering up some wood. Once my supplies were all replenished, I got back to my base and started building up the walls of the outpost. It started getting late, so when nighttime came around, I went back down into the mines to try and find some more diamonds. And sadly, I didn't have any luck. Which brings us into day 35, where I continued working away on the mining outpost. So like I mentioned before, the shape is pretty similar to our starter home. However, I made it so the entrance to the mining outpost is on the longer wall. That, along with some of the other details I'm going to be adding, is going to help switch it up a bit. I still have a lot to do though, so I need to quit yapping and start putting up this roof. To add a bit of different shape to the build, I decided to add a tower in the center of the roof. I feel like having a little tower on top of a mining outpost makes sense, right? Either way, this is going to give us a nice little bit of height as well. Alrighty, it's nighttime and no diamond mining for me tonight. I think I just need some sleep. It is a lovely morning on day 36, and I think we're making some good progress with this build. The shape is pretty much all done, so it looks like we're gonna have a lot of decorating to do today. So I spent the morning adding decorations to the build. I added some details around the windows, some supports which are one of my favorite modded items, and of course some leaves to frame up the tower. So while I was decorating, I had the idea that a little forge outside could look pretty cool. So I'm thinking we build up a big old chimney and then we could decorate around it. Once I was finished with the chimney, I continued adding some more details around the build, like a supply cart. Day 37 came around and I got straight to work on the build. And I'll be the first to admit that maybe I got a little carried away with decorating it. But hey, that's what this game is all about. If you have an idea come to mind, you make it come to life. So the forge is pretty much done, aside from the fact that I'm missing lava. I may have gotten rid of the only source close by when I gathered obsidian, but that's okay because I'm making a lava farm inside this build anyway. So we'll worry about that detail once this interior is done. Now, of course, we have to reserve one wall for the lava farm. However, I think for the remaining space, I would like to add some storage as well as spots for things like crafting tables and furnaces. Having those items around will definitely come in handy for smelting. So for the rest of the day, I continued working away on the interior of the mining outpost. Day 38, and I think we are pretty much done with this mining outpost. Honestly, it turned out really cute. I even found these really cool looking banisters for the staircase that leads down into the mines. Now, the lava farm area is, well, incomplete because I don't really have any lava. So I think we're gonna have to go find some lava today to get this all running. And probably change out this wood wall because I don't think that wood and lava mix very well in this game. But before we go off in search of lava, I think I need to get my food sorted first. We can't go adventuring on an empty stomach, so I spent the morning doing some farming. Alright, hunger solved. So now that I have a full stomach, I think I'm ready to go hunt for some lava. Now I did destroy that lava pit that was close by for some obsidian. However, sometimes some still remains underneath. Maybe that'll be the case with this one? I think I effectively destroyed it. So it looks like we're stuck finding another lava pit. Now, luckily we have a map, which is showing that there's some pools of lava by the village near our house. So I say we try our luck over that way. So with that idea in mind, I set off in hopes to find some lava. And I ended up finding a lava waterfall, which would end up giving me 1 bucket of lava. Luckily, the cave also had a lava lake a bit further down, which allowed me to pick up a couple extra buckets. This is great because it'll allow me to set up more than one fuel source right away rather than having to wait. So with all the lava that I needed for my farm, I made the trip back home and got to work on building the rest of the spot for it. So the lava's in place and now we just need the dripstone to funnel the lava down into the cauldron. And I just realized I only have one of these. Well, it's a good thing I set that waystone in that cave because it has tons of dripstone. So I quickly scooped some up, got back to my base, and then placed the rest of the dripstone I needed for the farm. And there we go, soon we'll have infinite lava. This is gonna make our lives so much easier, especially with all the copper we have to smelt. Yay! And that brings us into day 39 where we have another build all done at our base. Things are starting to look really nice around here. And I think with getting all this work done, we are definitely close to going on another adventure. We've got all the diamonds we need for a set of armor. However, the one thing that we're actually lacking right now are some essentials for living. As much as I'm itching to get out there, my food supply isn't doing so great right now. So I think I'd like to spend the day farming the animals to grow our food supply. So let's just grab some beef, and then we'll cook all of this up. So ideally, now that I have all this stuff prepared, I think I would like to set off on an adventure tomorrow. So with the rest of the day free, I think I should probably try to get some more diamonds. If I could make a new sword for the adventure, that would definitely make me feel even more prepared for whatever comes our way. So I spent the rest of the day in the mine searching for diamonds. Yes! Finally! I feel like it's been quite some time since we found any. Those were the only diamonds I managed to find, but hey, I'll definitely take it. That means we can make our sword now. It is now day 40, and I think it's time for our adventure, which means we can finally use these diamonds that we have been stashing away for quite some time. Alrighty, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's craft up all of this diamond armor. And last but not least, because we got those extra diamonds, we can make ourselves a sword. And the good news is we are left with 3 diamonds that we could use for something else later. Alright, it is finally time for our new shiny diamond armor. Ta-da! Diamond gear, let's go. Ooh, and I'm sparkling too. Very fancy. Now, the very last thing that we've got to do before we head out is, of course, enchant a piece of armor or maybe the sword. We only have 30 levels at the moment, so we've got to choose one thing. Oh wait, I can't. Well, I can, but I won't get level 30 enchantments because, well, I never finished the table. I kind of forgot that's the whole reason I'm going back over to that mushroom. Well, in that case, let's just go over there. What are we waiting for? How bad could it possibly be? So with all of the supplies I needed, I made my way back over to the mushroom. What is this? Hello? It's kind of creepy. Doesn't seem to be anything here. I'm just gonna leave that for now. And after a little bit of travel, I had finally made it back to the mushroom. All right, we're back. All we have to do is keep our cool, go in, destroy the spawners, and we should be good. How hard could it be? I figured that just like our last trip, sneaking in from above would allow me to assess the situation and come up with a game plan to break the spawners. Oh, I landed upon a chest. Look at that. There's the spawner right there. Come on, come on. I broke it. I broke it. Okay, it's fine. No, cow, no, move out of the way. Oh, there's lots of them here. The piglins still managed to hit quite hard and do a lot of damage, even with my diamond armor. But luckily it didn't seem like there were as many of them compared to the last time I was here. So I kept my cool and took them out one by one. All right, with that one spawner gone, I'm gonna snoop around a bit more, and it looks like there's another one down there. There's only one piglin here. You know what? I'm just gonna send it. Gonna break this really quickly. And you know what? There's just one piglin. We can do this. Easy. Yes! Let's go! After I broke those 2 spawners, I did one last sweep of the place to see if there were any more. And no, this is where I was the last time I was here. Did I conquer the mushroom? Wow, I think I did. Well, look at me go. Which means I think it's finally time for me to go ahead and collect some loot. And that brought me into day 41, where I began searching through the mushroom to find anything of value. And most importantly, you know I have to grab every single bookshelf that I see. And I mean every single one. Did I potentially run away from here the first time like a scared little baby? Yes. Did I maybe over-prepare to come back here just to break 2 spawners? Also yes. But hey, in my opinion, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And searching through all the mushroom houses with no worries of any mobs was pretty awesome. I had found tons of good loot, including more of those cute decorative mushrooms. Well, I think I have sufficiently taken every single worthwhile thing from this mushroom village. I've got a pretty substantial pile of loot, so I think I'm ready to get out of here. Well, mushroom, thank you for being here on my very first adventure. I will never forget it. And with that, I think it's time for me to go home. Once I was safely back home, I decided it was time to put the remaining bookshelves on the enchanting table so I could finally enchant my gear. So we've got ourselves a level 30 table, and of course I have over 30 levels to spend. So I gotta celebrate by enchanting something. Now the question is, what do I enchant? Alright, I know I was going on about how important enchanting our armor is, however, I do have efficiency for the pickaxe, and hear me out on this one. Now that I'm back home and ready to build again, I'm kind of focusing on tools that would help me with that rather than armor, and having an efficiency pick would help a lot. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Then by the time we're ready to head out on an adventure again, I'm sure we'll have enough levels to enchant something else. You know what, before I do any of this though, I'm going to bed. I feel like enchanting outside in the dead of night probably isn't the best idea. Like I said, better safe than sorry. Day 42 and wow, yep, it is a mess out here. Yeah, we probably don't want this creeper near our enchanting setup. Alright, I think we're mostly in the clear here. So let's finally enchant our first tool. I'm gonna go with the pickaxe and I'm gonna get efficiency and unbreaking. Yo, that's pretty good. That's not bad at all. I mean, fortune would have been pretty cool too, but hey, this is gonna make resource collection so much easier for us. So we definitely take that as a win. Also, during my travels, I've collected some pretty cool books that maybe we could use later down the road as well. So with our latest adventure complete, we managed to get our enchanting setup crossed off our list. I'm pretty well set up when it comes to our storage, enchanting, mining, all of that stuff. The only thing that our base seems to be lacking right now is farmland. Now, I had originally put the cows and sheep over here because honestly, I kind of assumed that I would be building my base around this area. But that kind of changed because I ended up building a little bit further away. So I'm kind of wondering if it would be worthwhile to move them closer over here. That way, everything's contained in one central area and it's just easier for us to get to. So I say we start things off by building a barn for our cows. We've been using them primarily as a food source and for leather, so I think it'll be worth having a safe and enclosed space for them. We also do have sheep, but I think I'd like to make them their own separate spot eventually. So with that idea in mind, I spent the day working on the barn. And that brings us into a fresh morning on day 43 where we have lots of work ahead of us. First things first, let's get this roof in place. Uh-oh, something's not right here. Oh no, I definitely miscounted this so it's an even number. After having to make a few corrections to the footprint, I got back to working on the roof. There we go, that's much better. After the roof was all in place, I filled in the walls with birch. Great news! I've got a barn going for our animals. The bad news, probably not enough copper for this roof. So knowing that I was probably due to make a trip to the caves, I spent the rest of the evening organizing my inventory to get ready for the trip. And that brings us into day 45 where it's time for us to collect some copper. Now I was kind of thinking that maybe we go venture off into the cave over by that village. I feel like I've taken most of the copper out of that other cave by now, plus we could do with some fresh scenery. So I ventured into a brand new unexplored cave and began grabbing up any copper I came across. What is this? Is that part of the village? Oh, must be considering that villager is right there. A little bit of an odd place to place a path, but who am I to judge? Also, there's a mysteriously placed urn here as well. I'm gonna break it anyway. Yeah, I'm totally getting cursed for that. Aside from that little piece of village pathing, there wasn't really anything noteworthy in the cave, which I suppose is kind of a good thing in a way. I probably shouldn't be getting distracted every 10 seconds, especially when I'm on a mission for something specific. Ultimately though, this cave had quite a bit of copper as well as iron, so I was able to scoop up a ton. I also ran into another cave goblin who finally wanted to trade copper with me. So overall, this adventure was a huge success. When I got home, I used my new lava farm to burn all the copper I had just collected. After that, I went to bed for the night. And that brings us into day 45 where I was able to begin putting the roof up with all the copper I had collected and traded. I'm still in the process of smelting all of it while building, but I definitely collected more than enough while I was in the caves, which is great because we're not going to have to make a trip back for a while. The roof was actually quite big, so filling it in with copper pretty much took most of the day. Once I was finished filling in the roof, I decided to add a bit of extra shape and detail by adding a dormer to each side. And that brought me into day 46, which began with the return of the orc. You again? What are you doing? Why'd you hit me? Ow! Ow! Stop it! You've left me no choice. Ooh, an emerald. Okay, I don't know what that guy's deal is, and I don't know why he always keeps coming back, but jeez, enough's enough, you know? So the structure is all in place, which means today all we have to do is decorate it before we can move the cows in. So I'm gonna start off by adding in some coarse dirt to give the ground some texture. Next, I'm gonna add some decorational items to the sides of the walls. I'm not gonna go too overboard with this one because it's a smaller space and I also don't want the cows climbing over everything. But of course, I still want the cows to have a cute spot to live in, so you know we've gotta add decorations. Plus, having some storage in here is always helpful because that way we can keep a good supply of wheat around. Day 47 and the barn is pretty much all done. There's just one little change I want to make to this roof real quick. I feel like it's missing stairs on the top part of the roof here, which is making the roof feel like way too steep. Yeah, this is looking much better in my opinion. And with a few little finishing touches here and there, I think it's all done and ready to go. Honestly, I think this is looking super cute and cozy. Like I said before, I didn't want to go too overboard with decorations and have the cows just like stuck on everything, but I think the decorations that I did end up adding give it a good amount of character. Also, these milk cans are so cool. Same with these little flower pots, look at them. I'm always so easily amused by things. Alrighty, so with that all done, I think it's finally time to move the cows into their new home. And is there really any efficient way to do this? I'm just gonna break the fence and, you know, hope for the best. Well, if this is the best, it certainly isn't looking great. Somehow I managed to only corral like 4 cows in here. I mean, I guess it's a start? So I went back to try and collect a couple more because, yeah, the first attempt did not go so great. Okay, I think that's a good amount of cows in this barn. Now, as for the rest, please don't judge me. I genuinely really need the food and leather, so I gotta do it. Alrighty, let's go back and feed the cows that are in the barn because we gotta end this day on a high note. Look at them though, they're so happy and they're loving it here. Oh no. Oh no! Day 48 and we can now check having a proper food supply off our list, all while having a nice build to complement it. So I think with all of that done around the base, that means we can go off on another adventure. As much as I love our home, I am itching to get back out there and see what's around. But before we go anywhere, we actually have some more levels to spend, so I think it would be worth enchanting another piece of gear. So I'm kind of tempted to enchant my sword because that would definitely help with battles, but I think the better option is to enchant the chest plate. Ooh yeah, the table's offering protection 3. I feel like we should take that. And we got unbreaking with that, nice. Yeah, I think enchanting the chest plate was the right move. Definitely makes me feel a little bit more confident facing some of the better Minecraft structures. Speaking of structures, where are we gonna go today? We could simply search around the map and explore new areas, or we could check out that giant structure by spawn. I say maybe we test our luck today and go check that place out. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really scary, but that also has me inclined to believe that there's probably some good loot in there. Plus, if it's too scary, you know I'm not above running away like a baby. Ooh, grabbing that copper just brought me up to level 30 again. That means we can enchant something else. Sword could be a good one. Let's see what it gives us. It's not the greatest enchantment. If we enchant our pants, we get protection 3. I feel like we should do that. That's not too shabby at all. All right, I'm all geared up and I've got a good supply of food, so I think I'm ready to head over there now. So once at the giant structure, I snooped around to scope it out. And pretty much from what I've gathered, this place seems like a giant woodland mansion, but obviously bigger. And just like the mushroom, I figured the strategy could be to work my way from the top down. The mansions usually have giant entryways where a lot of the mobs tend to hang around, so I figured it would be smart to scope out some of the smaller rooms first. And of course, the very first room I had to happen upon was a spider-infested attic. This is not good because they are, in fact, poisonous. Uh-oh, I'm stuck in a web. Oh, there's actually so many. This is so gross. Okay, this is a lot scarier than I thought. After taking a little bit of a breather, my strategy was to rush in there and break the spawners that the spiders were coming from. Okay, that's one down. This is actually such a nightmare. Why am I up here? Okay, there's another one. Once the spawners were gone, I just had to worry about taking out the rest of the spiders, which was honestly so much more manageable now that there were only a few left. All right, I think I got most of them, so now I think it's safe to snoop around to see if there's anything good. Whoa! Look at this. Okay. Aside from that one chest with the really good loot, the rest of the barrels and chests were pretty standard, containing some coal, iron, and gold. Still really useful stuff though. With having swept the entire floor, I was ready to move on to the next one. The fact that the attic was like this though tells me that the other floors might be a struggle. The next floor that I happened upon looked like a small room with a cell. Okay, small rooms I can definitely deal with. Oh, I didn't see this guy here. Uh-oh, they hit really hard. Low-key, I'm kind of trapped in this room, so maybe the small room wasn't a good idea? Uh-oh, that wasn't good. And of course, since I forgot to set my spawn close by, I respawned back at home. Since I didn't have any levels, I couldn't use the Waystone to get back, but at least I wasn't too far. Avoiding all the mobs that I could, I ran back as quick as I could. Okay, I'm back, and I had a big brain moment earlier where I decided to bring dirt to scaffold back up to my grave. Yes, I see its outline, and it's fine. It's fine. I got all my stuff. It's fine. Now I have no idea where that guy with the axe went, but since he's not here, might as well snoop around a little bit. So with all of my stuff back, I continued searching through the house. The first room I came across had another scary guy with an axe, but surprisingly I managed to take him down. Oh, that was so scary. Whoa, look at these melons and these little pumpkins. These are so cool. I'm absolutely taking these. Taking a bunch of decorative pumpkins and melons brought me into day 49. And after I had searched through that room, I was on to the next. It was a small little library that had another guy with an axe hanging about. And this time, instead of panicking, I pillared up so I could hit them without being hurt. Feels cheap, but it works every time. The only loot I had managed to find was up a ladder in a little dusty room. And it was okay stuff. Those were the only rooms on this floor, so I continued down the stairs where I came across a huge enchanting setup. Diamonds! I will take that. Oddly enough, there didn't seem to be any foes hanging around this floor, so I jumped on a really plush bed for a bit just because I could, and then I continued my way down. What is this? Special board meeting room? That's some pretty good loot. Everything seemed to be going great, and quite frankly, I knew that was suspect. Uh-oh. Ah! No! Not like this! Okay, I have to be brave, but also, I don't think I have a good enough sword for this. I should have enchanted it. Despite probably not being prepared for this, I put my big girl pants on anyway and decided to give it my best shot. Oh, what is that? That's not normal. Okay, I took him down. Just need the Vex now. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is though. That's not right. I don't like it. I don't like it. I wasn't sure at all where this weird worm thing was coming from, so I decided to retreat to catch my bearings. And unfortunately, that didn't make the Vex go away. This is the most amount of Vex I have ever seen. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep running away from them and hope that they stop following me. And maybe eventually they'll just despawn, you know? And yeah, they didn't. All right, I think I may have had enough adventuring for one day. That was a lot. And that brings us into day 50 where I'm all safe and back at home. I can't believe we're already on day 50. What's going on here? Time is flying by, but we've already had so many fun adventures and we've done a ton of work around this base. The best part is we still got another 50 days to go. Sounds like you're all stuck with me. So there's still so many things I want to do and explore. But one thing that I had in mind is that maybe it's time for us to check out the Nether. Now, in Better Minecraft, that is no easy task. There's extra biomes, new mobs in there, and overall, it can be quite a frightening experience. However, I think it could be really fun for us to explore and also to see if it's possible for us to get stuff that we need to go to the end. I know, the end, right? Sounds kind of scary, but that's also another place that has so many different areas to explore, so I think it could be fun for the adventure. Now, if we're making a trip to the Nether, we need a portal. So where should we place one around this base? What's this? You're telling me there was lava here this whole time? Figures I wouldn't have noticed it. Honestly though, this feels kind of like a good spot. All we gotta do is fix up this terrain a little bit. Before I got started on the terraforming, I decided to treat myself to a new shovel and axe with the diamonds I had found on my adventures. And once I had that, I began fixing up the terrain for the portal. And with a good spot laid out, I placed the obsidian to make the portal and lit it. All right, it's done. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared about this because I don't really know what to expect. But I say we just go in and check it out. All right, where am I? Oh, that is not good. Could be worse, I guess. What is this biome down here? That looks like a forest. I think it's safe to say that the Better Minecraft Nether is absolutely terrifying. And as frightful as it seemed, I decided to explore a bit. What kind of tree is this? What's going on here? Withering oak log. Just turns into oak planks though. Aw, is that what I think it is? Is that literally a fortress next to my portal? You've actually got to be kidding me. I think it is. Realizing I didn't have any blocks to bridge with, I quickly grabbed some netherrack and began bridging over. This is simultaneously terrifying, but also really cool at the same time. Feeling confident, I was itching to go up to the fortress to check it out. Since I was so low to the ground, I figured the best way to go up was to make a staircase on one of the pillars. Once I was up there, I had already spotted some blaze, which is great because that's what we need if we want to try to get to the end. But this stronghold definitely felt like it was a lot bigger than the OG one, so I decided to snoop around a bit to catch my bearings. The fortress had watchtowers scattered around, and I managed to scoop up some loot from them. Ooh, lots and lots of diamonds. Nice. Blaze powder? Well, this makes things a lot easier. Searching around the fortress brought me into day 51, where I'd come across what looked like a castle of the fortress. Whoa, this is so cool. Uh-oh, I kind of forgot that I still need to be careful in here. The fortress castle seemed to be huge, with tons of rooms off a main foyer. And although I was actually handling all the mobs pretty well, I realized I didn't have any food left. And we all know that's a huge problem. So not wanting to test my luck with having no food, I decided to head back to the portal. And since food was the thing I so badly needed, I spent the rest of the day farming animals. What? Are these weeds? I didn't know those could grow. I need to tend to this better. This place is a mess. After I made sure the animals were all fed, I also worked on fixing up the pathing. Day 52 and I was still working away around the base. So we've got like a decent stock of cows right now. However, it's definitely not enough yet. I don't really want to mess with my food supply and then just be in the same position that I was before. So I think I might just run around and search for some food today. The first stop on this food adventure led me to the village, where I found some cows and also some hay so I could make some bread. Eventually that led me back over to the village by the terrifying structure. What are you doing out here? That's not cool. Running away from the scary guys with the axes led me to a mysterious structure. What is this? Ah! Ow! What was that? Was it this resin stuff? Ow! I didn't know it did that. All right, what is this place though? Oh, that doesn't sound good. However, is this a spawner? It is. This could come in handy for us. One thing that I've been struggling to get is XP around here. And because of that, the armor that I just made honestly isn't doing so great. It could definitely do with some enchantments. Maybe I could turn this one into an XP farm. Because honestly, the one that I had found in the cave previously wouldn't be so great because it's submerged in water, and that wouldn't be easy to deal with. Well, it's a good thing that I ran away from that guy with the axe. Otherwise, I would never have found that. So with the new idea of making a spawner, I decided to head back to my base so I could gather up everything I needed to make it. On my journey back home, I stumbled across another tower. I decided to poke around and discovered it was a villager outpost. After dealing with a couple pillagers, I decided to snoop around. Ooh, cookies. Uh-oh. Nothing comes between me and sweet treats. After I cleared out all the pillagers I saw, I decided to poke around a little bit more. I found an allay, which of course I had to free, but I wasn't gonna bring it home with me. I've gotta be so real, they always just end up following me around, I lose them, it's just a mess. After that, I went to check out the upstairs, which had some chests, but there wasn't really anything worth taking. I snooped around a little bit more, saw these little bunk beds, and decided it was probably time for me to get out of here. So I located the village close by and went back home. And that brings us into day 53. Now I'm super jazzed that we found that spawner because it would be really easy for us to convert it into an XP farm. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe we do that so we can enchant some more gear before we head back into the fortress. I know, another classic drift detour, but honestly I think this would benefit us a ton. So I cooked up some food, fed the animals, and then I was on my way. I think I'm gonna bring this Waystone with me so it's closer to the XP farm. That way we can more easily travel to it. So after resetting the waypoint, I got to work on building out the XP farm. It's kind of stinky that I have to tear down this really nice structure, but honestly, it's gonna be worth it. And of course, as always, I'm using a tutorial for this, so I'll be sure to link it in the description. Tearing down the structure so the XP farm had the right amount of space pretty much took the entirety of the day. And of course, silly me forgot a bed, so I had to travel back to the base to sleep. And naturally, I am spending so much XP traveling back and forth, but hey, you gotta spend XP to make XP, you know? And that brings us into day 54, where I traveled back to the spawner to get back to work. First, I had to expand the walls to make the space a bit bigger. Once that was done, I had to carve out a little bit more space under the spawner and then fill the corners with water. After that, I just had to dig a hole beneath the spawner for the zombies to fall into, lay out a chest with a hopper, and that's pretty much it. All right, now all I have to do is place a slab over here on top of the spawner, get rid of the torches, and I think we should be good. Look at that. It works! With the spawner all done, nighttime came around and I forgot my bed at my base. I didn't want to use the Waystone and waste more XP, so I ran back over to the village close by and slept there. Day 55 got off to an interesting start. Nope. There are some big issues with this village. Uh-oh. I mean, I don't think it helps that there's a mansion close by as well as a pillager outpost, so I think it's just sort of doomed. Sorry, villagers. Can't help you with this one. On my way back to the XP farm, I spotted a strange tower in the distance. What is that? It looks like the tower is actually right around here on the map, which means it's pretty close by. However, as much as I want to check it out, I feel like I should make sure this XP farm is properly up and running. The zombies are falling, and I'm getting XP by hitting them. It seems like everything's in order here. So I spent the rest of the day gathering up XP, and that brought me into day 56. I was still only at level 24, so I decided to spend the entire day at the XP farm. I figure if I can at least get myself back up to level 30, then I can upgrade my sword and will be in a much better position for the nether. Because right now, this diamond sword is feeling pretty weak. Although this XP farm wasn't the fastest thing ever, it was still doing a decent enough job and I was managing to gain levels. And after hanging around the spawner collecting XP, I finally got up to level 30. Yay! I made sure to stick around until morning so I could get as much XP as I could. And that brings us into day 57, where I now have 30 levels thanks to this XP farm, so I think we should probably go home and enchant this sword. But before we do that, I think I might go take a look at this tower. Hello? I hear cats. Many cats. The sound of the cats obviously lured me in, where I ran into a pillager at the top of the tower. This feels like a very specific trap trying to lure specifically me in, because you know, if I hear a cat, I'm running to it. Ooh, another Waystone, nice. Some pretty good loot in here. All right, where are these cats though? Hello? Whoa, look at all these cats. There's so many. What are they trying to do? I feel like they're trying to leave. Should we just let them go? Go kitties, be free, be free. Oh look, Ruth's here too. Honestly, that was really random and I don't quite understand why they were all there, but I feel like they're happy that I freed them. So after checking out that tower, I made the journey back home. All right, I've made it back home and I think it is time to get this sword enchanted. I'm wondering, do I have any good books for the sword? I do have mending. Fire aspect could be a good one too. I also think I'm gonna use these bottles of enchanting now. Hello? They're not working. Oh, well, don't know what that was about, but at least I got an extra level. So with that all done, it was time to enchant a diamond sword. And I ended up making a new one so it had full durability. The table's enchantments were surprisingly pretty good. I ended up getting sharpness 4 and fire aspect. I also decided to throw mending on it as well so the sword wouldn't degrade quickly. Watch out, because I'm about to be unstoppable. And with that all done, I spent the rest of the day feeding the animals. And that brings us into day 58, where after a morning of gathering up some food, I was pretty much ready to go back to the nether. So without any hesitation, I ran back to the portal and made my journey back over to the fortress. Once I had made my way back up, I began exploring again. I first decided to go back to the large castle in the fortress since I had left a few rooms unexplored. On the top floor of the castle, I came across some piles of barrels, but the loot was mostly coal and random pieces of armor. Aside from the couple of diamonds I had found the other day, the loot in this castle seems to be pretty standard. Alright, I think it's time that I go look for those blaze rods that I need. Except what is this? Whoa! Look at this! What? What is this book? Cool. I feel like I've had much better luck with the chests that are just hanging around the fortress bridges. All right, let's go look for some blaze. Pretty quickly, the blaze started spawning in. And I'm really thankful that I enchanted my sword because it was much easier to take all of the mobs down with it. It felt like they weren't spawning super quickly, but I did seem to be getting lucky with most of them dropping blaze rods. Searching for blaze around the fortress brought me into day 59. So I have 5 blaze rods so far, and I think I could probably do with just a couple more. I'd much rather be stuck with too many than not enough, because I don't want to come back here. Got another one, and after spending a little bit more time searching around for blaze, I managed to get a couple more. All right, I've got 8 now, plus all of the blaze powder that I collected. I think that should be more than enough, so I say we get out of here. You know what, I just gotta say, that wasn't the worst experience I've ever had in the nether. We got so lucky having this fortress so close to our portal. So now that we have all these blaze rods, we can turn them into blaze powder, which gives us 20, and that should be more than enough for us to find the stronghold, as well as what we need for the portal. Now, the question is, how do I get more ender pearls? Because currently at the moment, I only have 1. And we need at least like, I don't know, probably like 16 to 18, I would say, just to be safe. Now, usually you can find a lot of endermen in the nether. However, the problem is that this nether has so many new biomes that it looks like the only warped forest around is many blocks away. And also, we have to traverse the most random stuff. Like, what is that? You know? So I'm kind of wondering if maybe it would be best to just go the route of trading with a villager. Because I'm pretty sure those magic dudes trade pearls at their master level. And guess what? We have a whole village over there, as well as a villager somewhere over there in a dirt hut. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's the play. And that brings us into day 60. And whoa, I just realized those trees absolutely look different. Wait a second. Same with these leaves. Are there seasons in Better Minecraft? Those were definitely like a vibrant green before. Cool. All right, so today I think we're gonna set up some villager trades. Now, moving villagers around is a giant pain. So I don't think I'm gonna put a bunch of effort into moving them over to my base, because honestly, it's just gonna take too long. Instead, what we're gonna do today is assign this villager a job, and then probably a couple of other ones in that village over there. Now, what I'm gonna do is assign a fletching table to the villager close by. That way we can easily get emeralds by trading sticks. There we go. First trade done and locked in, and then we're good to go with that. Next up, I need a brewing stand, which I thought I had, but maybe I don't? Well, that's a bit of a problem because if we want to trade for those ender pearls, we're gonna need a brewing stand. So I think I better go find one. The first spot I looked was in the village. Whoa, hey, I like your fit. You haven't happened to see a brewing stand around here, have you? Well, this is magic, but this isn't the type of magic that I'm looking for. However, it looks pretty cool, so I think I'm gonna take it. After not seeing the brewing stand anywhere, I traveled back over to the village by spawn. On my way there, I also decided to chop down some trees so I could later turn them into sticks. Trying my best to multitask here. Is this a magic tower? Yes! Okay, we got the brewing stand. Now let's get out of here. So I managed to find a villager that was all caught up in this fencing. Hey! No friendly banter over here. So I placed the brewing stand down to give the villager the job of the cleric. Hopefully by trading them a bunch of emeralds, eventually they'll level up and sell pearls to us. And if not, then we'll probably have to try our luck by making another cleric. Day 61, and with my 2 villagers all set up, I got to work on beginning the trading process. Pretty much the day was spent chopping down trees so I could make sticks and then trading them to the Fletcher. To speed up the process a bit more, I ended up giving a couple more villagers the Fletcher role so I could get emeralds more quickly. Then when I had a decent amount of emeralds, I began trading with the cleric to level them up. A big bonus from this whole process was that I was actually getting a lot of XP by trading with these villagers. So it looks like I'll be able to upgrade some more gear in no time. Day 62, and I was still working away on the trades. My problem is that I'm kind of stuck waiting for them to either refresh their trades or level up. So I'm kind of stuck right now. In the meantime though, at least I can gather up some more wood to trade for sticks. Once the villagers had reset their trades, I got back to trading for some more emeralds. By afternoon, I had managed to get quite a few more emeralds. So I went back to the cleric because they were really close to leveling up to master. Okay, are you gonna level up? Let's see. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're not selling me pearls. Well, that's not good. So it looked like I was back to the drawing board. I figured I would try my luck again by assigning another villager as cleric in hopes that they would trade pearls. Even though I kind of lost a whole day of progress, that's okay because it really doesn't take too long, so I think it's worth another shot. Fortunately, I had managed to get a couple more villagers as Fletchers, so hopefully that would speed up the whole process. And that brings me into day 63, where I'm hoping today's the day where I get the trade. So I spent the morning just trading sticks. So exciting. Slowly but surely, I was getting enough emeralds to trade with the cleric, and I was leveling them up. And eventually, after many cycles of trades, I had finally gotten it. Pearls! We got the Ender Pearl trade! You don't understand! This is so good! Let's go! Alright, just a couple more rounds of trading and we should be able to start buying them. So I spent the rest of the day trading sticks so I could finally buy those pearls. Can I just say that Carlotta's prices are unreal. 53 sticks now for 1 emerald. Excuse me, there's much better prices over here. I will be taking my business elsewhere. And that brings us into day 64, where we've got a pretty good supply of emeralds, so I think we can begin trading for some of these pearls. All right, 5 emeralds for a pearl. So let's just buy out all of them, or at least as many as we can buy. So that gives us 7. And with the one that we have in our storage, that means we have 8. I think if we do just a little bit more trading, we'll pretty much be good to go. So I spent the morning trading with the villagers. Whoa, what? You can place sticks? Cool. I didn't even know that. Well, it looks like we found ourselves a new decoration. And after trading for quite some time, I ended up with another 38 emeralds. And trading that with the cleric brought me to 14 pearls. So after a couple more solid rounds of trading with the Fletchers for emeralds, I think this might be the last round. Or at least I hope. Let's see. So, of course, with the one that we have in our inventory already, that brings us up to 20. 20 feels like a pretty good amount. Wowee, are we about to go to the end? So with these pearls and the blaze powder, it was time for me to start combining the 2 on the crafting table to make the Eyes of Ender. So we've got 20 eyes all ready for us to go. And we'll stash these away in here for now while we make our other preparations. I can't believe we did it. Making the Eyes of Ender brought me into day 65, and I think today we need to start the rest of our preparations for the end. So, right now, my armor honestly isn't looking too great. The enchanted items I have are honestly doing fine. It's the boots and the helmet that aren't looking too great. Now, I do have 6 diamonds that I might just use on either the helmet or the boots. And I was kind of thinking about making a new set of boots. I do have feather falling, which could help us if we don't get that from the table. And overall, I think that's just the better choice for armor. So, with a new set of boots, I went over to the enchanting table to see what I would get. I ended up with a pair of boots that only had Unbreaking 3 on them, so I decided to try again. What is this? Aerial affinity. It increases the mining rate when not on the ground. Okay, I got an enchantment that allows me to swim through lava. That's not useful for the end at all, but I feel kind of bad just like removing that, because that's pretty cool. Can I at least place feather falling on these? Oh, I can. You know what? Kind of an odd choice, but I'm keeping them. After using the last few diamonds on my boots, I realized I already had a pair that I had found on one of my adventures. Even though that kind of bummed me out, I figured the best way to make up for it was to spend the rest of the day gathering up a few more diamonds so I could refresh the helmet too. In my opinion, if we're going to the end, we might as well be as equipped as we can be. Especially now that we have enough levels to enchant this gear to make it even stronger. And searching around for diamonds actually brought me some good luck today. Yes, diamonds, let's go. Lava. This might be silly, but should I test out these boots? It does say I can swim through lava, but does that mean it hurts me? Oh, wait, no. Yep, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I don't think that's what it meant. Ow, I misread the label on the boots. I'm in pain. After that brief distraction, I continued my search for diamonds. More diamonds, yes! Ooh, this is a lot too. Overall, the day I spent mining got me 9 more diamonds. Alrighty, it is day 66. I've got 9 diamonds, and I think I'm ready to make myself a new helmet. So with the new piece of armor, I went back to the enchanting table. Let's hope for something good. Protection 4 and Unbreaking. This is perfect. Ta-da! Look at this. We've got ourselves some good armor. So with our armor all set to go, there's only a couple more things we need to do before we head to the end. The first thing that I want to do is make myself a good bow. That is arguably one of the most important things when fighting the dragon. Now, hopefully we get a good enchantment with this. Unbreaking and power 4. Decent. Now, I truly would love a bow with infinity, so I think I might try my luck making one more. If not, you know what? I think I just gotta get good. Yeah. That ain't happening. Other than a few odd things here and there like food, I pretty much had everything I needed for this dragon fight. So I spent the rest of the day organizing my inventory and puttering around the base. Whoa, cool. I took that aquarium from that villager and honestly, it's really cool looking. Day 67 and Ruth, I think I'm all ready to go to the end. I've got all the tools and weapons I need, lots of food, stuff to scaffold with. I think it's time we go. So I grabbed my bed, took my Eyes of Ender, and I was ready to set off for my journey to the end. Alrighty, let's throw our first pearl and see where it leads us. Oh, classic, right on the rooftop. Off to such a great start, honestly. But it looked like it wanted me to go that way, so I started my journey off in that direction. Alright, I've made it to a bit of a clearing, so let's toss another eye. Oh, there it is. Well, I guess we're going this way. Along the way, I passed through some really pretty forests with lots of animals. Eventually, that brought me to a jungle with a little house nearby. Hello? I don't know if this is friendly. That is not friendly. Ah! Ah! This may have been a mistake. I can't see anything. Oh, there you are. I'm really scared. There he is. Got him! That was so scary. Who are you? Why are you here? Also, I do hear some villagers down here. Hey, you okay down there, buds? Feel like I should probably free you. Here you go, bud. There. Go free. The world is your oyster. After I dealt with that mob that was known as the Illusioner, I threw another eye. Looks like I still need to go this way. Along the way, I came across a ruined portal with some good loot, and then continued on with my adventure. Day 68 came around where I was finally out of the thick of the jungle and I had found another clearing. Also, I just realized that I got this totem of illusion from that guy back there. I don't really know what it does, but apparently I can put it in my trinket slot. Alright, without further ado, let's toss another eye. So it seems like it wants us to go this way. So off I went with the eye leading me into a savanna. Whoa! A rhino! Cool! Yo, buddy, you're big. Look at you. Oh, that is so neat. Also, check out this pink cherry forest. This is neat. I ended up spawning a village, which was actually great because they had a Waystone. I activated it so I could come back here someday and explore. All right, I think it's time we toss one more eye. Nice. Still going the right way. And I haven't broken any of these eyes yet, surprisingly. So that's been pretty sweet. So onward I went, of course, searching the ruined portal first, and I continued on my way. I also made sure to pick up any sugarcane I saw to turn into paper. Hey, you never know. If we find an elytra, we're gonna need some rockets. Eventually, the eye led me into a cypress forest. Sheepy cows, what's up? So nice to see ya. Hope you're all doing well. Finally, after being in the forest for quite some time, I hit another clearing. Time to toss the eye. See where it takes me. Eventually, the eyes led me to the outback, which ended up looking so cool. What is this? A well? Some TNT, which makes me feel like this might not be good. Don't want to get too close to it. Wanting to make sure I was still going in the right direction, I tossed another eye. Oh, where'd it go? Oh no, that one broke. Since the eye started moving around a little bit more, I kind of felt like I was getting close. So I tossed another eye. Unfortunately, after that, I ended up breaking 2 more. However, I was sure I was getting close. It is day 69 and I'm still out here searching for the stronghold. Feel like I'm getting close, so I'm gonna toss another eye. Oh. It's bringing me back now. Okay, that's a good sign. So it's definitely somewhere around here. Knowing it was close, I began tossing the eyes more frequently. Is it like right here? If I keep tossing them, it leads directly right here. I feel like we might have found our spot. So being like 98% sure, I began to dig down to see if I was right. Ah! Oh no! Well, good thing I have feather falling. That could have been so bad. Jeez, that was scary. Nice cave though. After that scare and deciding I should probably be a bit more careful, I continued digging down. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found the stronghold. Yep, I found the stronghold. Much like the structures in the Nether, this seems to be 100 times bigger and 100 times scarier. But hey, I didn't come all this way just to chicken out though. I'm going in. So luckily I'd entered what looked to be the main foyer of the stronghold. Cool. So from there, all I had to do was start searching the rooms for the portal. Problem is, this place is a maze. I figured the best strategy to go about this was to place torches on the left side of the wall. That way, if I got lost, all I had to do was simply follow the line of torches back. Meaning I would know I was going the right way because they'd be on the right side of me instead of the left. I've got to be so real. It was so hard not to get distracted in this stronghold. One of the first rooms that I came across was a room full of treasures. It had blocks of gold, iron, and even diamonds. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit terrified that this could be a trap, but I'm taking it anyway. There was so much loot that I was collecting that eventually I just had to set a chest down next to my Waystone so I could keep everything safe. So after clearing out my inventory a bit, I continued searching around. Eventually I came across an old dusty library. Whoa, look at all these books. Getting some good stuff here. It actually ended up going back to that anvil I had found in the treasure room and adding some more enchantments onto my bow. All right, if I put this power onto this bow, it actually gives me power 5. That's awesome. I'm also gonna attach flame as well because why not? The next room I came across was a hallway with a bunch of cells. It ended up having a bunch of zombie spawners in it, but not any good loot. This eventually led me to a very large library. Oh, there's a lot of creepers in here. Yep. All right. Okay, there we go. I decided to poke around and ended up finding a chest with a mending book in it. Searching through the library brought me into day 70, where it led me into an entirely new section in the stronghold. Ah! Oops, I knew there'd be a trap. I fell for it anyway though. Somehow I looped back all the way over here again. How'd that even happen? While we're at it, I am gonna place mending on this pickaxe because I have been meaning to do that forever. Now that I've looped around, I'm kind of feeling like the next step would be to go this way. And hopefully we'll find the portal in this other half of the stronghold. So I continued my venture through the stronghold, finding various bits of loot here and there. This side of the stronghold actually didn't really have as many big rooms. Like there were no libraries or anything like that. It mostly just consisted of simple storage rooms that actually still had pretty good loot. And after searching through that half of the stronghold, I still hadn't found the portal. I'm not gonna lie, I was beginning to lose hope thinking that I had missed it or something. Until I finally realized that there is in fact a second floor to this place. And that's when I had immediately come across it. Yup. This is it! Yes, I finally found it. You know, leave it to me to forget there's a top floor of the place, even when it was so obviously there all along. And also, this room's looking real cool. Day 71, and I think it is finally time for us to open up this portal and go to the end. Alrighty, it is time to pop all of these eyes in. You know, each and every time I do this, it's still just as scary as the last. The suspense and drama of opening this portal simply cannot be beaten. So being as prepared as I could be, I hopped in. And immediately things were looking quite different than the original end. I had spawned into a covered structure, which was actually nice because it definitely felt safer. Eager to get this dragon fight started though, I began bridging over to the island. Alright, we safely made it. And this definitely looks way different than the end I'm used to. There's more towers, right? Oh, hello? What is this? Judging by this mysterious structure with beacons and all the added towers, I had a sneaking suspicion this dragon fight would be no easy task. Eventually, all of the beacons lit up and the dragon was summoned. That was dramatic. Well, I guess it's showtime. So immediately I began focusing on taking down the towers. And in the first couple shots, I had managed to take down 3. Not all of these towers were simple to hit though. Some of them were quite a bit taller, while others had things like bars and walls obstructing the beacon. Alright, I've managed to eliminate a couple while I was on the ground, but I think I'm gonna have to pillar up to get the rest. Oh yeah, there's no way I was getting some of these without breaking these bars. I'm also getting a much better angle of view from up here. Easy shots. Ah, no! Oh, that was close. You know what? I think it's a better idea to have this totem in my inventory instead. So after eliminating the last 2 beacons, it was time to take on the dragon. And as it turns out, the dragon actually perches on top of that castle. It actually ended up just being a lot easier for me to hit the dragon with the bow. Trying to approach the dragon while it was on top of the castle was no easy task. Let's just say it's a good thing I've been practicing my water bucket clutches. Basically, I just tried to be as patient as possible with this fight. So I think I made a bit of an oopsie. I've unfortunately run out of arrows because I don't have a great shot and I don't have infinity on my bow. So unfortunately, I think I'm just gonna be stuck at the top of this castle waiting for the dragon to drop down so I can hit it. This strategy actually seemed to work, but honestly, it took a long time. The dragon would often take forever to perch, and sometimes when it did, it would send me flying. Oh no, this is gonna be a bad fall! Oh, I am so lucky I had that totem. So yeah, this dragon fight brings me into day 72. What should have been a quick 5 to 10 minute fight turned into a waiting game that lasted 2 days. Listen, I'm not proud of the way this turned out, but hey, it could have gone much worse than this. Oh no, not again. Ah! Oh, how do I keep landing those? Also, look at the dragon's health bar. You have to be for real. This is just cruel at this point. Finally, after what felt like forever, I had my moment. I did it! I did it! Oh, finally! It's over. I never have to do this again. So finally, after 2 days, the dragon fight was over. I'm not leaving here without you, though. Yay, we did it! So immediately, I hopped into the portal to go back to the Stronghold so I could drop off some of my loot. I'm so glad that fight is over. Day 73 came around and it was time for me to go search for an end city. Judging by the way the island is for the dragon fight, I don't think this is going to be an easy task. And although I have played better Minecraft before and explored the end, it's been quite a while since I've played, so I'm definitely anticipating a lot of changes. Alrighty, let's get our trapdoor on this thing, and it's time for me to crawl on through. And this does not look like the end that I'm familiar with. Oh boy, yep, this is very different. Alright, I'm at least going to set my waypoint in case I get lost. So eager to adventure, I began exploring. The first biome I was in was called a chorus forest. It had these really cool things called aurora crystals, and when I broke them, they turned into shards. Is this a ship? Are you for real? Imagine there's an elytra in here. I would actually cry. Turns out there was no elytra at all. Aside from these cool looking pillars to display stuff on, there wasn't really anything in this ship. Kinda seemed like it had been abandoned and long forgotten. So after exploring this area a bit, I decided to move on to see what else was around. The next thing I came across was some sort of ancient ruin. Some of these blocks won't break, but it's so distinct that it's gotta have some sort of purpose. Quick side note, if I had actually read that book I received as soon as I got into the end, I would have figured out that it's a broken portal that could take you back to the overworld. Blissfully unaware of this, I moved on to another biome. I had to bridge across the void quite a bit to get to the other biomes, but that was par for the course in the end. Whoa, Look at that thing floating below. That is so cool. Hope it's friendly though. Bridging over to the next island brought me to a biome called the Lantern Woods. I mean, I guess this is what gives it its name. Can they be sheared? Cool. Searching through the Lantern Woods brought me into day 74. Look at these little mushies too. These are nice. The texture on them is exquisite. After being mildly distracted in that biome, I continued trekking forward. I was starting to get a little bit concerned because I had traveled through quite a few biomes and had only come across abandoned ships. I did end up coming across a shipwreck that looked like a classic end ship. However, since it was all broken up, it only had a little bit of the loot that's usually found in them, and no elytra. I had ended up pretty far from my portal, and that concerned me because I hadn't brought a Waystone, nor had I noticed any other portals around. And that brought me into day 75, where I felt like I wasn't having much luck in this direction, so I made the bold choice to turn around and try another way. While I was heading back, I came across a mysterious structure in the side of a hill. Hello? Diamonds? Nice. What a treat. After that brief distraction, I beelined it back to the portal. Alrighty, I made it back, finally. But that means I need to set off in another direction and just hope for the best. Really, an end city could be anywhere. It's all luck at this point. So I'm just gonna go this way. Shortly into my journey, I'd come across another shipwreck. This one had even worse loot than the first one I had found. I mean, it was so old that it even had moss in the chests. But determined to find the end city, I continued exploring. Eventually, I stumbled upon this biome called the Mega Lake Grove. Whoa. What is this? It's so pretty. There's like jellyfish in here too. This is by far one of my favorite biomes I've seen so far. Day 76 had come around where I'd finally found what I was looking for. Look at that. We've got ourselves a proper end city. Floating ship and all. So with an end city finally in my sights, I carefully bridged over. I am so incredibly nervous because this is so high up. And of course with my luck, it's right over the void as well. I really do wish I brought a Waystone in case something bad happens, that way I can teleport back here easily. But at the same time, I need to be a little bit more confident with myself. I've already come this far, so I can do this. Oh, okay, I made it. We are in a proper end ship. Oh, shulkers. Kind of forgot that was a thing. Uh-oh. The great news is this was a proper end ship, and I'm pretty sure I spotted an elytra. The bad news, it was totally infested with shulkers. They're spawners, that's why. Once I had taken out the spawners, it had made dealing with the shulkers so much more manageable. Eventually, I'd managed to get most of them cleared from the main room. Yes, that was the last shulker. All right, there it is. The elytra. Finally. We got it. We got the elytra. All right, can we equip this amongst all of this stuff? I don't know if you can, maybe? Yes, I can. I can still wear it with my armor. Yes, let's go. So with the elytra equipped, I started snooping around to see what else I could find. There was also an end chest nearby, which was great until I realized I didn't actually have Silk Touch on my pickaxe, even though I thought I did. So I placed it and wasn't really able to pick it back up. That's okay though, because in the moment I had realized that I was probably able to upgrade my backpack since I had so much gold on me. So that gave me an extra slot to store some of the items I had collected. Alright, I think I've successfully taken everything in this end ship, and although I do want to check out that end city at some point, I also just want to go back home. It's been days since I've seen the sun. So I think it's finally time to craft ourselves some rockets, and let's get out of here. So with my newly equipped elytra, I made the journey back to the portal. It is now day 77 and I'm almost back. Alright, I was just checking the durability on the elytra because it always stresses me out flying around without unbreaking on it. However, look at this. It already has unbreaking and mending. I love better Minecraft. Alrighty, we made it back. Finally. Please get me out of here. I want to go home. So once back at the original end island, I made my way over to the portal in the castle, which took me to the Stronghold, where I immediately just took the Waystone back home. If I left anything behind, I'll just go back and get it. Oh, wow. The clouds parted as soon as I came home. Look at that. It truly feels so good to be back. But also, that adventure was awesome. I've got myself a fancy elytra. We've got tons and tons of diamonds, some cool pedestals and stuff. I say that adventure was definitely worth it. So as boring as this may sound, I think I need to take the rest of the day to sort out my inventory and do some chores around the base. As fun as it is to adventure, I equally love coming back home and hanging out. Plus, Ruth is gonna want to know everything about this adventure. And that brings us into a beautiful morning on day 78. Since I spent so long in the end, I kind of forgot what sunlight looks like. So I feel like it would be really nice to spend the day outdoors and maybe build something. We have this portal that I put over here that we never did anything with. So I think maybe today we build a structure around it and make this area look a little bit nicer. Now, before we do that, I have some diamonds that I'm able to spend. So I think I'm gonna treat myself to a new axe. And of course, with all these levels we obtained, let's see what we get. Unbreaking 3 and Efficiency 4. I will definitely take it. Once I had my brand new axe, I got to work on replenishing my resources. I chopped down some spruce, made sure to burn up some copper, and gathered up some more birch. I'm not even kidding, there's something so freeing about being back in the overworld after having been in the end for so long. I'm just frolicking around this forest, gathering up wood. Life is good right now. So I spent the whole day in the forest with my small little tasks. It's these little serene in-between moments that I love the most. Day 79, and I think I'm ready to get started on this project. It's time to make this portal look a little bit fancy. Now, the one thing I actually want to start off with is, breaking this portal. I had only made it 2 blocks wide before, and it would just be better if it was an uneven number. That is literally the worst sound. So let's go 3 blocks wide and 5 blocks high. Now, of course, let's just relight this thing. So with the portal back up again, it was time to get to work. Admittedly, my math wasn't mathing today, and it took me forever to build this footprint, which is basically the shape of a simple square except the corners are gone. Don't worry though, eventually I figured it out. Once the footprint was all good and in place, I worked on putting up the beams and then the outline for the roof. Building up the structure for the portal brought me into day 80. Alright, bottom floor roofline is all done, and that is looking good. Oh, I think the wandering trader just went into the nether. That's not good. Let's see, let's follow him in. Oh yeah, you totally did. Sorry, buddy. Looks like you're on your own here. I'm heading back. Well, at least they're out of my way, I guess. So, with the wandering trader out of my hair, I began working on the roof. I'm only filling in part of it because I want to extend the build upwards into a tower. My idea is basically to have a couple of different rooms to give this build multiple purposes. Alright, I've got the base of the tower in place, and now I think I'm going to extend it out a bit at the top with some beams to give it some more shape and room. Yeah, this is really starting to come together. So pretty much for the rest of the day, I continued working on the top floor of the tower. Day 81, and we're still working away on the tower, but we are making some very good progress. With all of the rooms in place, pretty much all I have to do now is build up the roof. And then after that, we can move on to adding all the fun details. So I worked away building up a tower-style roof made of copper. Once that was done, I worked on filling in some of the walls of the tower. Things are looking pretty messy in this space right now, but once it's all filled out, this is gonna look super cool. Day 82, and look at how cool this has turned out so far. What a nice addition to the space. Before we move on to decorating the build today, I just want to fix up the tower roof a little bit more. Right now it feels a little bit too clunky. Okay, so with that all done, now I can begin decorating the build. And I think what I want to start with is getting some windows on the side walls. If we're gonna do that, first I need to actually collect some sand. And then we just gotta cook this up. And while we wait for our glass to be made, I'm just gonna start filling in the interior. Once I had made all the glass panes I needed, I started filling in all the walls. I used a combination of purple stained glass and regular glass to add some detail as well as complement the portal. Day 83 came around where I started things off by adding a ladder so I could get to the upper floors of the tower. Once I had access to the upper floors, I was able to add in some windows. With that all done, it then came time to add some decorations to the outside. I tried to keep it fairly simple and in line with all of the other builds I've been doing around this base. So I added in things like planters, I got some lighting in place, and then of course I spammed some leaves around the tower to make it feel more overgrown. Alrighty, the exterior is pretty much all decorated, and I think this is looking really cool. I think it still definitely fits the vibe we have going around this base, but also adds in a nice little magical element to it as well. So now it's time to just work on the interior, and then we're pretty much done. And I have some pretty good ideas in mind for what we could do with this space. I figured we could utilize these spaces as a way to display some of the cool stuff that we got from the end. That way it's kind of keeping in theme with the magical vibe of this portal, and we also have a nice space to display our stuff. So with those plans in mind, I eagerly got to work on them on day 84. When I was in the end, I collected a bunch of these really cool pedestals that allow you to display random items. So I'm gonna pop a couple of these down here. Next, at the very top of this tower, I'm gonna put this weird amethyst basin that I found. I'm not exactly sure what it does yet, but maybe we'll try to figure it out after. It's probably just gonna be more so there for aesthetics. After some of the main fixtures were in place, I perused the menu to see what else I could make. Wait, is that a woodcutter? Are you for real? I'm actually gonna cry. I could have been using this this entire time. This entire time, and I didn't know. Well, maybe that just means I'll have to explore better Minecraft again. Make sure to leave a comment if you want me to do that. After perusing the crafting menu for quite some time, I got back to work on building out all the spaces. Day 85 came around and I was on to the final last finishing touches of the build. Wait a second. It's cold here now. We've got ice, and look at the leaves. They're even more pale. Watch, look at my breath. Can you see it? No? Oh, but you can smell it. Oh. All right, I'm going back to building. I pretty much spent the morning adding a few last finishing touches. Basically, everything was in place. I just wanted it to feel a little bit more cozy and lived in. And after that, I was pretty much all done. All right, so I think I'm pretty much done with the interior of this tower. So on the bottom floor, we have an area to display a couple of items, which I haven't chosen yet, but I do have a couple of ideas for what I want to place. Then if we make our way to the second floor, we've got this like really cramped reading nook. It's basically like a dusty old library. Smells like old books in here. Then if we make our way to the top floor here, we've got this little basin. Now this is like a little enchanted thing that I found in the village over there. I don't know exactly what it does, but when I picked it up, it was glittering. And I think it might have something to do with amethyst shards, because I also picked these up when I had taken this. So let's try dunking some of them in. Whoa. Okay, so I don't think you can actually put amethyst shards in it. However, if I just hit the thing, then it releases all these cool little particles. I don't know what it does. But regardless, I think it looks kind of cool. Now, we've got to figure out what we're going to put on these pedestals. So for the two in the back, I was thinking of just displaying some cool things that I had found either in the end or in the nether. Ooh, you know what? This gilded blackstone shard that I had found from the mushroom area would be cool. And then maybe for the end, we could choose something like a disc. Let's also see if we can place any of this stuff as well. So let's pop the music disc here, the shard here, and unfortunately, I don't think I can place these crystals. I wonder though, maybe I could place a couple tables here and then get some of this stuff in pots. Actually, these, I think we can probably just hang here. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. I like that. We are gonna have to get pots for this mushroom though. And that brings us into day 86. Where I started the morning off by fetching some clay so I could make pots. While I waited for the clay to burn, I also made some item frames to place some stuff in there as well. That way I can place the shard here, and maybe an amethyst on the other side. Hello? What did that do? What did that do? I don't understand. Well, I guess I just have this miniature item frame now. I'm just not gonna question it. Alrighty, I finally got my flower pots. Great news, everybody. I can't place those mushrooms in a pot. Nor can I place these flowers? What is happening here? All right, into the frame you go. Aside from the empty pots that we have right there, we need to fill this pedestal. And I mean, I think you all know the obvious answer as to what needs to go there. We need to put our dragon egg there. I worked really hard to get that thing, and I think we need to display it. So I went back over to the Stronghold because I'm pretty sure that's where I left it. Ah, here it is. So for this little area, we've got our final piece to the puzzle, the dragon egg. Look at that. You know what? This room actually looks really cool. I like it. What a fun little way to display things. Oh, and look at that. It's snowing outside. This is so cool. So for the rest of the day, I went on a hunt to find some flowers that would actually fit in the flower pot. We've got Lily of the Valley, perfect. And right here, looks like we've got some dandelions. Put one there and then put that here. A job well done. Whoa, look, there's icicles everywhere. Day 87, and with the tower all done and complete, that leaves us with a couple of options with what we can do today. And we still have some cleanup to do around this base. The pathing could use some work, we still need to bring those ducks over to the pond, and this place could probably do with a couple decorations here and there. Or, alternatively, we could take our new elytra out for a spin and see what's around. I mean, we haven't really put this thing to good use since we've got it. And there's so much more of this map that we still have yet to explore. So I say we put this thing to use. Also, before we head out, look at this base. This has turned out so cool. All right, for real, I'm going now. So I chose a direction and took off. The first thing that I came across was a small structure in a forest, which ended up being a witch hut. I feel like that wasn't very fair of me. She was kind of just chilling there. Feeling a little bit bad about that, I ended up just taking off, which quickly led me to a watchtower nearby. Okay, this place is kind of cute. It's got a little bit of basic loot. Ooh, and a waystone, perfect. I was kind of hoping we would come across one of these so I don't have to fly home. After I'd searched through that tower, I continued on my adventure. The next thing I came across was a village, which was pretty standard except for a shrine of copper golems that I had found. Hello? What are you doing? Whoa! Whoa! You're alive! Oh, look at that! They're turning the light on. That's adorable. Ew, go away, villager. Nobody asked. Ooh, another Waystone. Don't mind if I do. Unfortunately, I couldn't really figure out how to bring the copper golems with me, so I decided to leave them to whatever they were doing and adventure on. Exploring around brought me to day 88, where I'd come across a stranded villager. You okay? Let's see if we can help you out here. Here you go, buddy. Be free. Be free. He's not moving? He's still not moving? Okay, well, I tried. Whoa. What's this? This looks fun. Ooh, look at this. Ouch. Uh-oh, there's a trident. I'm scared. Yeah, I don't think this is something that I want to mess around with. Not wanting too much of a confrontation, I decided to head out. So I continued on my journey where the next thing I spotted was a really large tower. Whoa, arrive at a lighthouse. Well, that's what I did. This thing is huge. I wonder if we could light it up. Maybe up here? This all looks very complicated. Whoa! Cool! All right, we gotta fly out to see this. Whoa! It's lit! That is so cool! Awesome. Ah! Do you think that was the keeper of the lighthouse? Who's gonna light it back up to steer all the ships away from shore? Whoops. So I decided to search around a bit to see if there was anything else in the lighthouse. Aside from a room with a couple bookshelves, there wasn't really much else. Eventually I decided to fly back towards spawn and then head south from there because I hadn't really seen what was around that area. And to my surprise, there was actually a really cool looking village close by. Oh, this is a cute looking village. Got some nice pathing, fancy houses. Decent spot though. Ooh, bacon. Don't mind if I do. After I scoped out that village, I continued flying south. Day 89 and I was still out and adventuring around. Whoa! What is this? Well, I don't think this is good. Maybe I should just like pop a Waystone down here just in case. Ah! Oh no! There's a lot of these dudes around here. And apparently I'm freezing too. Sorry, just a side note from me watching this back while editing. Drift, maybe that was, I don't know, a cue for you to leave? Well, it looks like I'm in the thick of it now, so might as well explore. Wow, yeah, great idea. Ah! Uh-oh, uh-oh, I don't know if this is a good idea. Ah! 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 Who are you? Ah! Ah! I'm stuck in a hallway with like a Yeti! No! Ah! What just happened? Get me out of here! I'm stuck! I'm stuck and I'm shivering! Oh no! Oh no! That was the most embarrassing thing in the world. Oh, I respawned over here too. Well, I think I need to go get my stuff back. So the most logical thing for me to do in this situation was go back to base, get some new gear, and then teleport back once I got some XP. So I quickly farmed some cows for the XP and then made my way back. All while forgetting a bed, mind you. Ah! Uh-oh, I don't know what that is! Ah! And apparently, I didn't learn my lesson with death number 2. Honestly, because I had put the Waystone in such a bad spot, I was in a bit of a pickle. So I decided to try my luck just rushing into the place to get my stuff. It was on the ground floor, so all I really had to do was just run and hope for the best, right? No idea what happened here, but hey, I'm taking this. Unfortunately, the sun was starting to set as I was getting closer to the castle, but the one saving grace is I noticed a village nearby. So I reset my spawn, took some food, and I was on my way to get my stuff back. And I'm not gonna lie, I got caught in a pretty bad death loop here. The powdered snow was just making things so much worse. It also didn't help that I actually had multiple graves that I had to worry about collecting as well. And I was focusing on the one that didn't even have my good stuff. The amount of attempts I had taken at getting this stuff back was just too many to count. Eventually though, I'd finally had my one moment of opportunity. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, right here, there's my stuff. Okay, okay, I can make it. I can make it. Flying out of here, flying out of here. I am shaking right now. In game and in real life. Oh, okay, I got my stuff. I might freeze to death over here, but that's okay. I'll set my spawn. Zombies are gonna take me out. I am going to freeze to death, but that's okay. I literally don't know how I'm surviving this right now. I'm not even gonna lie. Yep. Got my stuff back. I'm no longer freezing. And I'm out of here. Time for me to go home and never show my face here again. And wow, what a way to start day 90. I mean, thankfully I got all of my stuff back because that would have been brutal if we lost it all. But honestly, the end of that adventure had me missing my base a little bit. So I think it's time for me to putter around and get some stuff done. The first thing that I'm gonna start off with is cleaning up some of these paths. I was thinking that instead of having dirt paths run through, it would look really nice and clean if we used a stone pathway instead. So I got to work replacing all of the dirt pathing. Partway through the pathing, I ran out of cobble, so I had to go into the caves to collect some. Collecting up all the cobble and placing it pretty much took the entirety of the day. But believe me, that's exactly the type of day I needed after what I had been through the previous day. Day 91 came around and I continued working on the pathing. The one drawback with the snow was that it was starting to get in my way as I was pathing everything out. But despite that, I did the best I could to work around it. Alright, all of the stone pathing is laid out, and I think this is looking good. The only dirt path I left was the one going over to the farmland, because I figured that stayed in theme with it. Now all that's left to do before I add fencing is add a bit of coarse dirt around the edges, and this is gonna look great in no time. Day 92, and I think it's time we really kick this decorated pathing into high gear. First thing I need though is a little bit more spruce. To really make the pathing complete and frame it up nicely, I always add fencing to it. I don't often do long connected pieces, rather a bunch of little bits here and there. That way I can frame it up with other things afterwards to add more variance, such as some lighting or even some leaves to make it look more overgrown. And I think this is already looking so much better. And then in the remaining gaps, I like to add things like storage piles. And on top of that, I'm gonna place these cute little oil lanterns. I also love how you hold them when you walk with them. It's just so cute. Day 93, and it's a cool, brisk morning at our base. As much as I do love the snow, I am missing the nicer weather. But that's okay, because I'm all bundled up and ready to continue working outside. Also, look at the snowy stone blocks. That is so cool. I love little details like that. So while I was working on the pathing yesterday, I had a realization. I've never done anything with our Waystone. And honestly, this is something that I've ended up using so much throughout our adventures. So I feel like we've got to make a nice spot for it. Now the question is, where do we put this thing? We of course want it to be central, but we also don't want it to obstruct any of our views. Okay, hear me out. This might be a little bit of a pain, especially because it's icy, but what if we put a little pathway into the center of this pond? Then we can rest the Waystone here. I feel like that would look so cool. So it's not actually a super big pond, which means we can't really do anything too crazy. I feel like a small little bridge leading to a platform would be perfect. Then we just plop this in the center, reactivate it, and all we have to do now is decorate around it. So I started decorating around the Waystone. I don't want the build to go too high and block the view of the portal room, so I don't think I'm gonna put a roof on this thing. And now we just need a little railing for our bridge, and I think this actually looks really good. It doesn't obstruct any of the sightlines of the builds above, plus it adds detail to this pond, which I wanted to do earlier, and it has a function. Yay! Day 94, and since we now have this centerpiece for the pond, I think it's time we go on a very important mission today. A mission to find ducks. That's right, the moment I have been waiting for. So the last time I saw them, they were in this forest over here. But the problem is it's wintertime now, and I don't know if the animals react to that. Well, there is a chicken over there, and we've got like a boar over here. Where are the ducks at? I hear quacking. Hey, look at you. Wait, are you a duck or are you a goose? You're not like the one I saw last time, but you're pretty cool looking. Do you like seeds? Oh, I heard another quack. There you are. I feel like these are geese of some sort, but you know what? I'm taking them. And forgive me if I'm not exactly sure if this is a goose or a duck. I'm Canadian, so I'm used to the Canadian geese, which look entirely different. Although maybe we do have these type of geese as well. I don't know. All right, buddies, home stretch. We can make it. Whoa, they zoom. What? No way, let's see that again. Whoa, they swim so fast. Once I was back at the base, I realized I probably should have had the enclosure ready to go before I brought them back, so I had to temporarily put them in a hole. Stop circling it, go in, come on. The other one fell for it. Oh, gotcha. Guess this is my home now too. It's a beautiful morning on day 95, and we gotta get these little geese a home. So I was thinking of simply enclosing this pond so they could roam freely around it. Now, in order to do that though, I need a couple more resources. We could probably do with a top up on spruce, and I'm gonna need quite a few oak leaves to help fence us off. All right, we've got a good amount of supplies, so let's close off some of this area. I think as long as I use fencing and the leaves are 2 blocks high, then it shouldn't be an issue. I don't think they'll be able to jump higher than 1 block. Okay, I think I got everything. So if I take the geese out of here and we bring them over through here, there we go. Can either of you escape? Is this goose-proof? Kind of looks to me like it might be. And there we go. We've got ourselves a little duck pond. They're so cute. Day 96, and there's one last thing I need to do for our geese. I've got to name them. So luckily, along my adventures, I've accumulated a ton of name tags. I've got 3 in my inventory right here, and I think what I've got to do is name the 2 geese and then Ruth, of course. So let's go ahead and get Ruth's name tag done. Ruth, I'm sorry, it's been quite some time, but I'm finally gonna give you your name tag. There you go. Hi, Ruth. Next up, we go see the geese. All right, buddy. I'm gonna name you Dorian, and you, I'm gonna name Kale. They're like kind of not talking to each other right now. I wonder why. And I'm sure it's pretty obvious to a lot of you what book series I'm currently reading based off of those names. I'm very invested right now, I'll tell you that much. So with the rest of the day free, I was kind of thinking, I wanted to see if I could make some things with some of the materials I found from the end. I picked up a bunch of this thalacium, and when I looked it up, it seemed like I was able to make some cool things with it like armor, and even this sweet looking hammer. If I can figure out how to make something with it, cool. If not, it's no biggie. First thing I'm gonna do is try to cook it up. All right, so it does cook into ingots. That's great. So after I had the ingots, I tried turning it into a full block, because once I had that, it said I was able to make a hammer with it. However, for some reason, it wouldn't let me. After coming to the conclusion that I likely needed a certain type of table to make this hammer, I ended up just making this cool little knife instead. Wah wah. I'm gonna try enchanting it with this giant book and see what happens. Okay, it like kind of worked. It gave me smite and knockback. How about we test it on a mob? You know, this thing's pretty powerful. Nice. And how are we already on to day 97? We only have a few left. And honestly, our base is looking pretty good right now. We've got all of our pathing done. All of our builds are looking good. Dorian and Kale are chilling. So I say maybe we set off on another adventure today. I'm starting to get a little bit of the winter blues, and I think I might need to go somewhere warm for a bit. Now we've got that savannah village close to the Stronghold that's also near an outback. So I say we hop on over here and see what's around. Warm air, grass, no snow. This feels so nice. So with one final adventure, I explored to see what was around. And immediately as I flew off into the sky, I spotted an interesting structure. What is this? Once again, I dove into an area that maybe I shouldn't have gone to. Would have been smart if I brought my shield. I'm just hitting all of them off of the edges, honestly. That's about as much as I can do here. Surprisingly, that knife that I had crafted was actually doing a pretty good job. So I guess this is like a tree house or something. There actually ended up being some pretty good loot in some of these chests. I found a bunch of enchanted books and even a totem. Once I had grabbed everything that looked cool, I decided to continue on. Oh, and there is just casually a village next to that structure. There is a monument though, and this looks kind of scary. Oh yeah, I see a spawner. Definitely spiders too. Ah! Nope, I don't deal with spiders. Whoa, what is this type of wood? Rainbow eucalyptus. Cool. Day 98 came around where I set off to see what else was around. Surprisingly, some of the warmer biomes around here were frozen as well, while others like the mangrove and jungle remained unaffected. Eventually, I came across an abandoned tower. It had a ton of coal and iron blocks, which I ended up taking. And upstairs, it didn't really have much else except sweet potatoes. The next thing I came across was a mysterious circular structure. Ow, what? What's happening? Oh, it's wither roses. I feel like this is something that maybe I shouldn't mess with. Just maybe, you know? What I am gonna mess with though is this well that I had found before. There's gotta be something under there, right? What if I make some flint and steel? Set down some TNT here. Ah! Oh, I don't think anything was there. I think maybe this is just a really nice structure that I destroyed. I'm getting out of here before anybody notices. Eventually, as I was flying around, the weather really began to turn. I spotted another one of those cool looking watchtowers and went inside for a brief break from the rain. Again, the loot was pretty standard in there, and it basically just had a lot of good starter items. Honestly, I was having a great time just flying around and seeing what was around. Whoa, giraffes! So cool. Hi, buddies. How are you doing? Oh, you just side-eyed me? That's okay. You want a sweet potato? No? Okay, sorry. Honestly, that was the highlight of my day. Or is this the highlight of my day? Volcanoes? What? Oh, this is sweet. What is this? Volcanic cobblestone. This is actually such a nice texture and color. I love this. I also like how there's so many in one designated area. Like, look at this on the map. This is so cool. And last but not least, the final thing that I discovered was a mushroom island. I don't think this is a typical mushroom island because it has a lot more stuff to it. There's snails too. What? Oh, they hide if I come too close. Sorry. What if I sneak? Oh, yep. Wow. What? There's an entire village here. Hello? Who are you? What? Hi. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, this is the best thing I found today. I don't know what I could give you. Like, do you want a mushroom? No, you are a mushroom. You wouldn't want to eat a mushroom. I think I'll just let you be. Whoa! Mushroom cow, let's go! Wow, what an adventure. I think I'm satisfied and ready to go home. And that brings us into day 99, where I wanted to say what a beautiful morning, but I am out here fighting for my life against mobs. I get home late once, and this is what I have to deal with? Come on. So today, with pretty much everything done around our base, I was kind of thinking, maybe it's time we cook ourselves a nice meal and celebrate everything we've achieved. First, if I'm gonna do that, I think I've got to steal a couple of things from my fellow chef friends around here. So I went over to the village nearby to steal a cutting board, and I went back to the mushroom village to take their frying pan. Now this mod is called Farmer's Delight, and I've used it quite a few times. And honestly, it's great. There's so many things that you can craft and cook up. Now the question is there something we can make that's actually attainable? There's so many things you can make, however, I don't quite have all the ingredients for them. I do, however, think I could probably make an egg sandwich. All we need are a couple fried eggs and some bread, and then we're good to go. Do I have any eggs though? I don't think I do. Is my last adventure seriously gonna be a hunt for eggs? Honestly, that checks out. I do love eggs. There's that Alay I freed. No way. It's just flying around aimlessly. Okay, well, I did see a chicken around here the other day. So where there's chickens, there's gotta be some eggs, you know? There's one egg. Now I just need one more. Searching for an egg strangely proved to be kind of difficult. It's funny, usually I run through plains and those things end up in my inventory all the time, to the point where I usually just end up chucking them. Today, however, I've only found one. It was nearing one of our very last days and I was starting to get a little bit hungry. And about to admit defeat, I stumbled across one last egg. Yes, I've got two! Now I can make the sandwich! Alright, we've got our 2 eggs. Now, do I just put it in the frying pan? Oh! Okay, we've got 1 cooked egg and 2. So I think with these, we just combine it with some bread and we've got ourselves an egg sandwich. Like I said, this is a very fitting meal for me to have on the last night in this world. IRL, I eat hard-boiled eggs like every single day. They're good for you, okay? So with the final evening in my better Minecraft world, I peacefully ate my egg sandwich and went to bed. And here we are, day 100, where we survived 100 days in better Minecraft. Although survived seems like a little bit of a bold word to use. And you know what? There were some pretty big challenges along the way. I managed to get myself into quite a few pickles out there, but honestly, I had such a great time. And you know what? Even though we were busy doing a ton of adventuring, we still managed to build up quite a substantial base. I mean, look at this. This place looks awesome. I wonder, actually. Give me 1 second and a little bit of editing magic. Ta-da! I have restored it to pretty much its former glory. I mean, aside from a little bit of snow here and there and the water's still ice, I wanted to be able to see this place in the classic Minecraft weather. And you know what? This base turned out really cool. We had a warm place to sleep at night, a place to store all of our cool trinkets and items, a nice little enchanting area, a safe spot to go into our mines, of course, a little spot for Dorian and Kale. Our cows got a lovely home. And last but not least, we got this really sweet portal tower that displays all of the cool items that we collected along the way. And I think that leaves us with memories of great adventures. So that's it. We survived for 100 days in better Minecraft. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this 100 days. We got up to some really fun antics and adventures, and I had a blast. So with all of that, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!